pass the SAVE Act bill for America. We need to pass that. Our vote matters. We got to have a vote integrity. Voter IDs is needed because IDs have our signatures on it. Besides our address and photo, it has our signature. And that matters when it comes to voting as well. Your signature.
Fuck Charles Schumer. He can go fuck himself. Because see, you can't tell black people that something they support is Jim Crow 2.0. You can't tell black folk that something they support to the tune of 71 to 76%, that MSDNC and even CNN had to admit were true because they did their own polling.
Good morning, Patrick. Good morning.
Black people support having an ID to vote. But y'all want black folk to support not having an ID to vote so that you could give away the House to illegals and to foreigners like you've been doing.
Want to really see something that said, take a look what happened. Just can't make this up, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody that's tuned in right now that you are blessed, well, and healthy. If you're new here,
yes.
Family, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and you're definitely going to want to share this one. We have a huge one that
like and subscribe.
Viral, breaking the internet. So everybody's talking about it right now. And he has gone nuclear viral again, and I'm happy for my brother, man. As this guy here used to be a former Democrat, I believe, and he, again, went viral this past election, having a walk away from the Democrat Party.
Yep, it's going to happen. Appreciate that. Today's the day. Why not?
And there's a reason why. And it's proven every single day, you know, and even the current presidents, that big bad orange man, that gangster, that bad yay, that big bad orange man. I'll tell you, man, Dontavious Trump has exposed these politicians, has exposed these Democrats in broad daylight. And again, you might...
Chuck Schumer should have been out of Congress. That man been in Congress for how long? Like over 30 years?
Or you might not like anything at all.
Flip-flopping.
Trump derangement syndrome, and that's fine. We accept everybody on this show. We want to just tell you guys that we are wishing the best in everybody's life. We are praying for America, for our president. We are rooting for America, man. You know, again, we agree, disagree on a lot of things. We are human beings. We are not perfect. You know, some of you might come on here and disagree with things I say. It's okay. It's fine.
Right.
You know, but we must continue to seek truth and call this thing out for what it is. And Democrats ought to be ashamed of themselves. And as you know,
like and subscribe
has gone viral, upsetting.
What up, Jarnell? What up, bro? Good morning.
Tens of millions of people. And a lot of people in the black community, black Americans, are making all kind of viral videos right now, calling his butt out. But this one right here really stole the show. This one stole the show, and I couldn't wait to report on it. And as you can see right here.
Yep, good morning. Happy Thursday.
Follow him, check him out. But he tells the senator, he tells Chuck Schumer,
nice and sunny,
go F himself, because as a black man, go F yourself. Especially when I know you're attempting to triangulate black people into giving third world illegal voting rights. So your accursed political entity can stay in power forever and ever. You're an evil man. Boom. And as you can see, we have reposted this and left a like on it. It has gone nuclear viral with over 53.7 million views. And I believe it had almost close to 500 million engagement. I mean, this has gone nuclear viral on Chuck Schumer's post, on which he responded, quoting Chuck Schumer's post, as Chuck Schumer says, the SAVE Act is Jim Crow 2.0, and it would disenfranchise tens of millions of people. If Trump is saying he would sign any bills until the SAVE Act is passed, then so be it. There will be total gridlock in the Senate. Senate Democrats will not help pass the SAVE Act under any circumstances. And as you know, he was responding to a post of Jamie Dupree, but it was a Trump post where Trump had said, great job by the hardworking Scott President on Fox and Friends talking about using the filibuster or talking filibuster in order to pass the Save America Act, and 88% issue, with all voters. Again, y'all, majority of America thinks it's common sense. Voter ID. You need an ID to do everything else. Some of the most important things to live your life.
This is what the SAVE Act is about.
To do this, to do that, to do this, to do that. Get a job, to buy this, to do that. I mean, but one of the most important things to vote.
Right, your ID has your signature, and people keep on forgetting about that. They worry about the picture and the address. It's about your signature too as well. When it comes to these voting ballots, you got to sign too as well, and your signature should match. And it doesn't match the ID, it's bogus.
They say, and we know why. You know why. And it's coming to the light, man. And this is one reason why I appreciate, I'm grateful, thankful that President Trump got back into the White House. Again, a lot of things have been exposed under President Trump's presidencies. A lot of things have been exposed in broad daylight, and he has exposed these people for what they are. He's exposed the Democrat Party. And again, some people might call it this or that, this and that. But I am thankful, I'm grateful, And as you see, a lot of other people are, and they didn't even go out and vote for this man right here. They didn't even vote for President Trump. But this is why so many people have walked away from the Democrat Party. No common sense. And y'all care so much for a criminal legal alien. Y'all care so much. Hey, we know why. Oh, man, that sweet old power, huh? Yeah, they want to turn everything blue, huh? But Trump has said it must be done immediately. It supersedes everything else. Must go to the front of the line. I, as president, will not sign other bills until this is passed, and not the watered-down version. Go for the gold. Must show voter ID and proof of citizenship. No mail-in ballots, except, and we know what's exempt. We know, for military illnesses, disability, people, traveling. And again, no men and women sports, no transgender immunization for children. Do not fail President Donald J. Trump. And we've seen him come out and speak and say this.
Subscribe. Good morning. Like and subscribe.
We'll make this go even nuclear viral. We're going to play that full clip of Mr. Isaiah L. Carter. But he caught a lot of people's attention. He even caught Elon Musk's attention, who even reposted this and even said true words to this post by Isaiah L. Carter, telling Senator Schumer to go F himself, and he even said this as well. Schumer is an extreme racist.
Yep.
On Penny Two Times post, when Penny said, calling ID laws racist is literally racist. How incredibly insulting to suggest that anyone is incapable of doing basic paperwork. On that note, if an individual can't figure out how to get ID, I don't want them to vote. Doesn't seem like a high bar, And honestly, if you don't have paperwork, I honestly, again, y'all, I'm just being honest. You shouldn't be voting to begin with. I'm just saying. Some of y'all might disagree with that statement right there, but I'm just saying, But we're gonna play this video of Isaiah L. Carter as he elaborated on this viral post, and then we're gonna play another clip of him just really humble and expressing the love that he got from calling out these corrupt politicians, these corrupt Democrats. And again, Chuck Schumer, I believe should have been out of there a long time ago. I think they ought to walk Schumer out in handcuffs, if we're being completely honest. These people have been a part of the problem for a very long time. And again, they have no messaging but Trump, 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 Trump. They have no messaging on this or that, nothing. It's just Trump. We must stand up against Trump. Trump, the big bad orange man, threat to democracy. They have no messaging.
Right. No messaging.
Trump has broke the Democrat Party. And again, Trump exposed these people in broad daylight. And even that big ad they're probably going to run, we're going to see it reloop over and over and over when he asked the Democrats, he asked the other side to stand up to put
America first.
American citizens over illegal immigrants. And you put criminal illegal aliens over Americans over criminal aliens, and they still sat down. They wouldn't stand. A huge spit into the face of we the people.
Am I going to vote for him again?
And Trump,
if it was constitutionally allowed, I will vote for him again. But he can't run a third time.
Everything that went on during that State of the Union address, because it needed to be shown for everybody to see. Man, it's a disgrace how bad the Democrat Party has gotten. And again, I think they're some of the biggest hypocrites, the biggest frauds, because a lot of these Democrats, even Chuck Schumer himself, sounded just like President Trump.
Good morning, Eric. Good morning. Good morning.
Back in the day, they actually believed in borders and all kind of things. They actually believed in a lot of things that's coming out of the mouth of the president. But now, everything the president says now is bad. They must oppose it. They must go against it. But anyways, check this out. This is the full video right here of Mr. Isaiah L. Carter that has gone nuclear viral. And then we'll play another video of him as well. And again, y'all can check him out on his page right here. We'll put it on the screen. Y'all can check him out, give him a follow. Again, he's calling it out for what it is, calling out these politicians, calling out the Democrat Party, as he used to be a former Democrat. Again, they're running everybody out of there. Good luck, Democrats. Good luck. Oh boy, good luck. Again, you might not like the right either, this and that, but and that's why there's a lot of independents. But that Democrat Party has ran everybody out the door. And again, SAVE Act, Common Sense Act is what I call it. The voter ID, it's common sense, man. Common sense,
Chuck baby. Schumer, that's all it is about.
Be ashamed of himself for calling it.
Like you said in the chat, even Somalia is asking for IDs now.
God doggone.
Good one, Eric.
Check this out.
Fuck Charles Schumer.
Fuck him.
He can go fuck himself. Because, see, you can't tell black people that something they support is Jim Crow 2.0. You can't tell black folk that something they support to the tune of 71 to 76%, that MSDNC and even CNN had to admit were true because they did their own polling. Black people support having an ID to vote, but y'all want black folk to support not having an ID to vote.
Good morning, M3. Good morning.
So that you could give away the House to illegals and to foreigners like you've been doing. So how else would you do that? How else would you influence black folk to once again go against our best interests, like you've been doing for the last 60, 70 years? Well, just code it. Just code the thing they support as something racist. Do like the communists did back in the 1930s, where you tag something, where you call the thing you're trying to get opposed, call it something with a bad smell. So, of course, what do? Jim Crow 2.0. And mind you, black folk, white liberals don't think you're fucking idiots. White liberals think you can't eat. White liberals think that you all are dogs.
Good morning, Chad. Good morning. Look at this. Somebody called me a bootlicker. That's the same name from the Democrat Party, the slave plantation. So get off the plantation with these names, calling people bootlickers, coons, sellouts. Y'all are the one. Y'all using the same exact word the master used. The Dixiecrats, all that. Y'all hilarious in the chat. Some of y'all.
You don't know how to get an ID. You don't have access to things. That's what they say. That's what white leftists say about you.
She got another job, so she's not fired. Do your research, she's not fired. She's at another position.
You're retarded or whatever. Meanwhile, black folk in the hood walking around with a state ID or driver's license.
Like and subscribe, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Like and subscribe.
Democrats are
Let's get to 1,500.
They've been racist. They are racist. They're the party that enslaved us. But y'all forgot all about that.
They keep claiming it is switch. Never switch.
All the whole.
You got Joe Biden. You had Joe Biden in office for 50 years. So how it switch? You got the people in there still. Vote their ass up out of there. Ain't nobody Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, them in there for 50 years. And y'all want things to be changed.
During the civil rights movement,
You gonna block me? Get off my chat then. What's going on here?
Break the spell, folks. Break the spell. And fuck this triangulation on the part of the Democrats to get us to support things for illegals. Yeah, Schumer, go fuck yourself.
I mean, wow. He spoke for millions and millions of people. I mean, a lot of people feel that way. And people have had enough of these Democrats, man. I'll tell you. And it's been a huge slap in the face, a huge insult, especially to the Black Americans and a whole lot of people, man, of the things that these people have come out with, have said. I mean, it's been a huge spit in the face, a huge insult, But hey, you ain't black.
You don't vote Democrat. Fuck that shit.
You ain't black if you ain't a Democrat. How they say it? How Biden say it? What did Miss Kathy Hochul say? What did Gavin Newsom just say? He just like you.
He can't read.
He just like you. Low test scores and can't read, huh?
And they up there clapping. Yeah, Newsom, yeah. Democrats.
Every single day, man. But the big bad orange man, that's the real racist, though. All of a sudden he became racist after he came down that escalator. But you got clowns like this saying this live on television. I just don't get it.
So, Leader Schumer, this talk about election security has revived discussions of the SAVE Act, which you have said you oppose. Proponents of it say that it's, to have ID, you have to prove U.S. citizenship to be able to vote. Though some of the claims they make, to be clear.
Again, the IDs have signature. Your signature matters too as well.
But polling does suggest, there's a new Pew Research poll, that 95% of Republicans, but also 71% of Democrats like this idea.
Thank you.
So why do you not?
It's Jim
Like and subscribe.
And I called
Name is Deunta.
2.0, and the right wing went nuts all over the internet. That's because they know it's true. What they're trying to do here is the same thing that was done in the South for decades to prevent people of color from voting. For instance, if you change, you're a woman who got married and
right, you got the rhinos, you got the swamp.
To show ID, and you'll
vote
be
them out of there.
Against. If you can't,
will be discriminated against. This is just ridiculous. Like I get hotter than fish grease when I see this live. When I see this clip played, man, he ought to be ashamed of himself, man. And I really wish I could say what I really, really want to say, but they'll probably take this whole video down on today's show. They'll take it down, honestly.
find a birth certificate or a proper ID, you'll be discriminated against. This is vicious and nasty. And I said to our Republican colleagues, it will not pass the Senate. You will not get a single Democratic vote in the Senate. We're not reviving Jim Crow all over the...
We're not reviving Jim Crow. This is crazy, man.
It's not even Jim Crow.
You know, we know why y'all don't want this, man. The hell with safe, fair, free elections. This is ridiculous, man. But Mr. Isaiah L. Carter, again, broke the internet, went viral, and he had something to say about all this. And I want you guys to check this out as we end today's show off. And again, y'all can go check him out, give him a follow, you know. But we the people have had enough of this clown, these Democrats, this crap, man. You know, we've had enough. And Mr. Chuck Schumer ought to be ashamed of himself. And I agree. He needs to go himself. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. How do you feel about all this? How do you feel about Chuck Schumer? And how do you feel about the SAVE Act? Again, the Common Sense Act. You know, what a disgrace, man. But check out what we...
Surface clip from the 1990s shows Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer backing ID checks to crack down on welfare fraud. Fast forward to today, and he's fighting voter ID requirements in federal elections. Take a look at then.
A federal election.
Let's admit the truth. Everywhere people go, they're asked for a social security card. In fact, one way to prove you're a bona fide person who can have a job is to ask for a driver's license and a social security card.
Amazing.
Carter had to say about this whole thing going viral and this everything that's played out in the last couple of months, and you know how bad it's gotten with the Democrat Party. Check this out.
And so, with a grand total of over 50 million views, I never, ever thought that I could top, that I would
Subscribe.
top the lunch break video from last year. I never thought it would ever happen. I didn't think it would ever happen. I didn't know that my life would change not once, but twice in less than a year. No, actually over a year. I'm sorry.
Good morning, chat. Here we go with the bootlicking. You get the You gotta be a Democrat. Keep on calling people bootlicking. Talking points from a Democrat, the Dixiecrats. Come with your own words. Get off the plantation. Some bootlicking. Wow. Democrat words right there.
Who again take
you
this
voted
time to thank each and every one of you for liking, for sharing, for bookmarking, however you chose to interact with my post today. I really, really appreciate it. Like more than any of you could ever realize. This has been humbling beyond words, and I am truly grateful both to, for the first and foremost, all glory and honor to God, and to Elon Musk, who saw this post in the wee hours of the night and shared it out to the world. If there's one thing that I have learned, if there's one lesson that I think is in this, and I don't know where this is going to go, I don't know what the Lord has for me in this regard. Apostate Radio is growing steadily, and I hope that you'll continue to like and support the channel. We can use all the help we can get. But if there's one lesson that I think I can glean from this, is that it is entirely appropriate, and I would argue it is a civic duty to remind the people who have demanded our votes for so many years, who have grown used to being in power, and elected power for all, like they're used to being in power, and they expect to be in power for pretty much as long as they live. It is important, ladies and gentlemen, to sometimes, matter of fact, all the time, remind these people that you are the ones who they work for. I'm going to repeat that again. You have every right. The United States of America, this country, we can talk about, all of the moral, what the morals of our founding fathers. We can talk about all of
who the Democrats really are and where their loyalty genuinely lies. And people see it now. It's a beautiful thing.
The way I viewed it last night watching it is that they gave a middle finger to the oath of office that they took. In fact, their new oath of office is oppose Trump. On anything, on any situation, the one thing that they seem to want to come together on is to oppose Trump. Trump could find a cure for cancer, and they would find a reason to disagree with it. Yeah. And I don't know if that is just their strategy to get them through the midterm or whatever, but I think that if it's just about opposing Trump, I don't think that the people that elected them sent them there to do that. Number one, it is about the American people first. You got to take care of home. You got to take care of your family before you can take care of or try to help to take care of someone else's.
There's so many debates that can be had about that. But at the end of the day, it is a duty to sometimes remind the people you elect that they work for you. And they are supposed to represent your interests. They are supposed to represent your best interests. They are supposed to represent you and your basic needs. That is what you pay taxes for, ladies and gentlemen. You pay taxes for government to provide a basic fucking service. And if they cannot provide it, once they go to ways of trying to manipulate you into maintaining their power, then it is your responsibility as an American, it is your duty as an American to stand up and tell these people to go fuck themselves. Okay? We're past the time of when Charlie Kirk could, sit down and talk to these people, talk to those who you didn't disagree with, who you disagreed with. The left has made it very clear. They're out for blood. They've let people into this country who are perfectly fine with spilling blood. They've let people into this country who are perfectly fine with writing laws and telling you that you cannot adhere to the Constitution. looking at you, Virginia. And it is your responsibility as an American to remind these people that it is you that they work for. And if sometimes that involves telling these people to go fuck themselves, when they try to manipulate your emotions, when they try to manipulate your mental state, think of how evil it is for the Democrats to sit up and tell black people that something they support is Jim Crow 2.0. And they need blacks to believe that voter ID, again, which 71 to 76% of blacks were polled, according to either MSDNC or CNN, because it was their networks, their polling. Imagine how evil it is to tell black people that voter ID is Jim Crow 2.0, all so that you, as a Democrat, can replace the blacks who you are losing at the polls. I think that's what's happening right now. Black people are being systematically replaced at the polls. I've said this before. There are two types of cattle the Democrats see people as, either vote cattle or tax cattle. And since the 1960s, the blacks were the vote cattle. Lyndon Johnson said he'd have N-words voting for the Democrats for generations, and such was the case. But now they are looking to replace, and they are looking to replace with an even poorer third world group of people of similar skin color. The Democrats are hideously racist. They are hideously racist. They despise the Constitution and they hate you. And again, you have the responsibility, the duty, to tell these people to go fuck themselves, up to and including a United States Senator. Please make sure to subscribe to the Apostate Radio YouTube channel. Please make sure you have all your notifications turned on, and I'll see you very, very soon.
Yeah, Yeah.
All voters must show voter ID. 98%. That's 98%. All voters must show a little thing called proof of citizenship in order to vote. Right, Paul? Paul agrees. No mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. You're away. You can't get there. We'll be generous. And then I added two things. We call them best of. You know what they are? Best of Trump. These are the best of. No men in women's sports. 99%. That's 99. And no transgender mutilization surgery for our children. That's it. That's it. And I think we're going to get it approved in the House, and I hear the Senate has a hard time. How can you have a hard time with that? How can you have a hard time? But
do you run a risk of being on the wrong side of President Trump in your resistance to do this talking filibuster, tying the Senate in knots for weeks?
We don't have the votes either to proceed, get on a talking filibuster nor a sustained one if we got on it. But that is just a function of math. If there is anything I can do about that, I mean, I understand the president's got a passion to see this issue addressed, as we all do.
Does he understand that, though?
Well, we've conveyed that to him, but we'll continue to make that argument because I think it's important that everybody understand that this really is about the votes, it's about the math. And I'm for better or worse, I'm the one who has to be a clear-eyed realist about what we can achieve here. And so we'll continue to convey that. And I think that we're going to have a fight on the floor. We're going to vote on this. We're going to put it out, and we'll give the Democrats the opportunity to cast their vote on whether or not they think non-citizens ought to vote in the American election.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about President Trump threatening to go nuclear on Senate Majority Leader John Thune, who is a Republican, over his refusal to grow some cojones and to pass the SAVE Act. Okay, that means that John Thune would have to actually make Democrats work if they really want to stop this piece of legislation, which is extremely popular, not just with Republicans, but with the rest of the country when it comes to election integrity. It's very simple.
Thank you, guys.
Proof of citizenship in order to register to vote, which you would think is a common sense thing, right? This is something that everybody should agree with, right? But apparently Democrats don't agree with it, and we know why they don't agree with it because, well, they don't want people to have to prove their citizenship in order to register to vote because they want illegals to be able to vote. It's very simple. It's very simple. They run around making these excuses, talking about how this is racist, it's going to disenfranchise black people, women, gays. They come up with all types of crazy stuff. Anytime Democrats don't agree with something, they just boo-hoo, whine, and cry, hate bigotry. Okay? It should tell you everything you need to know. Okay? So, with that being said, President Trump is fed up, right? He said, look, I'm going to go nuclear. Since you don't want to pass it, then I'm not going to sign any bills into law until the Save America Act passes. This is what he's threatening, okay? He's now coming out to John Thune directly because President Trump has been talking to the people. He's been on the road, and he knows how much the conservative base, his supporters, support the SAVE Act and how much they really, really, really want it passed. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
All right, looking live right here at the White House, President Trump is threatening to hold up legislation until Congress passes the SAVE Act. As Trevor Shirley reports this afternoon, it's a GOP-led election security bill that many Democrats say will disenfranchise voters.
If the president remains true to his word, that would include not signing legislation to reopen the Department of Homeland Security, which remains unfunded and shut down. Over the weekend, President Donald Trump posting this threat on Truth Social, that if Congress doesn't pass the SAVE Act, he'll grind most legislative business to a halt. The SAVE Act, also known as the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, was written by Republicans. It includes measures that would require universal voter ID and proof of citizenship to vote. Legal non-U.S. citizens and those in the country illegally are already banned by federal law from voting. Democrats say that...
Yeah, but that's an honor system, right? That's hey, check the box if you are actually a U.S. citizen, right? And if you lie to us, then you can go to prison. That's what it is, right? There's nothing that you actually have to do to prove that you're a citizen. And in the states, blue states, you have to rely on them to actually enforce the law, which they don't do, right?
No, they don't.
Enforce the law. So that's the problem here.
The bill would be redundant and pose challenges for U.S. citizens already registered to vote. They say it would also allow states to purge voter rolls ahead of the midterms, potentially kicking eligible registered voters off registration lists. If the president does as he says, no legislation would be signed until the SAVE Act passes. That includes any bill to reopen DHS, as lines at TSA checkpoints continue to grow around the country, sometimes taking hours for passengers to get through. The SAVE Act has passed the House 3 times over the past several years, but died each time in the Senate. It doesn't appear there's enough support in the Senate for the bill to pass now. President Trump, though, is urging Republicans to get rid of the filibuster so they can pass it with a simple majority instead of the normal...
Testing about that. Why? He said there ain't no way, absolutely no way, that any sane-minded common sense American cannot see the delusion that's happening right in front of us. I'm telling you, stuff done flipped upside down in people around here. This far left done lost their grip on reality, and they proving it every single day. They complain about everything. Everything the president do, y'all got something to say. Everything he do, everything. He closed the border. You complain about that. Why? He protects Americans. Y'all out here protesting about that. Why? He stands up to an Iranian regime that's been oppressing, okay? Torturing, murdering its own people. And y'all have no compassion. That's inhumane. Y'all still out here complaining. Y'all, then you held up the funding. You shut down the government. Y'all done throw a temper tantrum like little bitty children. Because what? He dared to defend this nation instead of bowing to y'all agendas. Thank you, God, for this president. And now y'all want to cry about money. Y'all crying about money being spent on this war or on a war? Where was this energy when Obama was sending millions of dollars overseas? Where was the outrage? Somebody tell me where was the outrage when the Biden administration, they sent billions of dollars pouring into the Ukraine. Y'all ain't said nothing.
And that was a war still going on.
Somebody tell me, where were the shutdowns then? Where was the moral lectures then from the folk who's okay with hormone therapy and puberty blockers for children, minors? Where was the outrage about all this money that Biden sent, Obama spent? Y'all ain't say a word, not a word, quiet as a church mouse. Because as long as that money was flowing out of America and back into y'all pockets, y'all was fine.
60 vote threshold that requires some Democratic support.
Will it pass? I think so. It just depends.
Like and subscribe, everybody. Name is Deunta.
Against it. But
thank you, guys. Thank you.
Chickens on the Republican side, and we're going to have to go gather them up.
So far, Republican Senate Majority Leader John Thune has not shown much interest in blowing up the filibuster to pass the SAVE Act.
Yeah, because he's weak, right? That's why he's weak. Okay, and he's playing this game where he thinks that, I don't want Democrats to do this after Trump leaves office, right? And it's like, well, I think Democrats are so radicalized that there's a good chance that they're probably going to try to get rid of the filibuster in some shape or form. I mean, they try.
Right, Mark. The SAVE Act will prevent dead people from voting. Period. Ain't no way. With Arizona and Georgia had dead people voting. Took the dead people off the ballot. They still put them back on the ballot. That's why it matters. That's why IDs matters. Because your ID has your signature on it. It has your picture, and you're gonna bring your ID to the place.
Try to do it under Biden, right? Let's be real. They tried to do it after Trump's first term. After this term, they're certainly going to try to do it, right? So it's almost kind of like damn if you do, damn if you don't. I think that these people are living
Thank you.
Right? I do go back and forth about whether or not the Republicans should get rid of the filibuster. I personally don't believe that they should for most things, right? But I think for this, though, like they can carve out an exception because it's important to protect election integrity. I do believe enforcing election integrity is going to make it harder for Democrats to win. And if Democrats can't win because we have to have fair elections, then you ain't got to worry about it, right? I mean, at least in theory, right? In theory.
Well, he's got to be a leader. He's a leader. He's got to get him. It's the most popular bill I've ever seen put before Congress. And it's voter ID and it's voter. You have to be able to be a citizen to vote.
Well, that is President Trump responding to a question earlier on Senate Majority Leader John Thune saying he does not have the votes to pass the Save America Act. That legislation would require Americans show proof of citizenship when registering to vote, impose strict photo ID requirements before casting a ballot, and dramatically restrict voting by mail. As the SAVE Act standoff continues, President Trump is vowing not to sign another piece of legislation unless Congress passes it. Now, keep in mind, the Constitution dictates that states are primarily responsible for overseeing elections, including those at the federal level. Senior congressional correspondent Joe Khalil is live for us there on Capitol Hill. So, Joe, what is the latest, and what are you hearing about a possible filibuster?
Well, if you needed any more proof that Senate Majority Leader John Thune is getting a lot of pressure from his own party to bend the Senate rules or to change them altogether and more easily move the Save America Act forward, look no further than President Trump right there saying that John Thune needs to be a leader. Those are not exactly soft words coming from the commander-in-chief to his top Republican in the Senate.
Well, I mean, it's true. He needs to grow some cojones, right? That's your job as leader. Your job as leader is to lead. Lead those who allegedly are against this to be for it, right? That's your job, okay? It's in the title.
Still, Leader Thune has said over and
Good morning,
over
Bruce.
and
Good morning,
over
everybody.
again
Good morning. Good
that he's
morning.
not gonna
Thank you
bend on
guys for stopping
this. And
by.
the way that he framed it was that he says it's not entirely in his hands.
Vote
The
red. Don't be
Republican,
misled.
majority, they would need to vote to bend or to change their own rules and allow for what's known as a standing filibuster in order to lower the threshold from 60 votes that you need now to pass the Save America Act to just 51. Yes, it would be easier to pass, but it is a complicated process to get there. And Thune says in his own conference among Senate Republicans, they just do not have the support to do it. He said over and over the votes to change the rules here are not there.
Okay, so start naming names, right? Start naming names. Who are the votes? Who are the people who don't want to make Democrats sit on the Senate floor and to tell us why is it we should not have proof of citizenship in order to register to vote, right? Or
I'm glad you guys in the chat. Name is Deunta. Everybody is welcome. I'm a Trump supporter, American first. If you guys not, you still welcome to my chat. And if you a bot, I'm gonna bot you up out of here and get you up out of here. Other than that, everybody else here is welcome. Let's agree, disagree, facts over feelings, and no name calling for what reason. We all the same human race. We all just think differently. Nothing wrong with that. Like and subscribe.
ID, right? Proof of identity in order to vote, right? See, again, Republicans are playing a game that I believe they don't actually really understand the rules, to be honest with you, right? They don't understand that Democrats don't play by the.
You know how many poor people right now that got IDs and they strung out on drugs right now, especially in Chicago, out here in Rockford? They got IDs. They go to the liquor store all the time. What else they get? They healthcare medicines and all. They healthcare medicine and all that. They got IDs. Most of these people out here that's living in tents on the side of the road, they got IDs.
Rules, okay? There are no rules anymore. We're not talking about getting rid of the filibuster altogether. We're talking about a talking filibuster. So the filibuster is still there. They're just bringing back what the filibuster actually was, right? Like the original filibuster was, hey, you got to sit on the floor and actually talk in order to stop a piece of legislation from getting a vote, right?
IDs are not enough.
Really show that you want to block this piece of legislation if you want to be successful in it.
All right, Somalia got IDs now. Even Somalia, they talking about having IDs.
That you don't want this to pass, right? Before you can block this, right? That means you got to put in some effort. I think it's a great idea to make Democrats put in effort and to, again, explain to the American people why we shouldn't do this. I think it would be amazing. But again, it makes so much sense that Republicans are not going to do it, right? And this is why Republicans are their own worst enemy when it comes to stuff like this. They're too busy trying to play by rules that don't exist. I know why John Thune is not trying to do this. It's because it's hard. It's hard. That's why. It's tough, right? And he's afraid of what Democrats might do when they take back power and control. Here's the thing. If Democrats try to get rid of filibuster, they're not even going to try to allow Republicans to talk. They're just going to get rid of it altogether, right? This is the bare minimum. This is, we're going to make you talk. So it's not completely getting rid of it, and it's just carving it out for this one thing. John Thune can't even do that. It's shameful. It really is. It's shameful.
How often do we have elections? You mean tell me that y'all know the election's finna come up, you don't have time to get your IDs or make time to get your IDs before the election happens. But y'all can make time to go travel, go buy beer, to go to a club, but you don't got time for get your ID update for the election. That's all they trying to tell you to do. Get your IDs ready. Get your IDs ready for these elections, state or federal. All these excuses everybody keep making. I get my ID. My wife got her ID.
What a actual talking filibuster would look like is think of the sort of old school way that this used to be done. Democrats would be able to delay the vote on the SAVE Act by standing on the floor talking. They would have to hold the floor and keep talking and talking, but that obviously doesn't last forever. So when, at whatever point it would be, Democrats would give up the floor, Republicans could then vote on just 51 votes pass the SAVE Act. But again, Thune says it is a complicated path and not necessarily one that's good for the body, not good for the country, he says. Take a listen to him explaining this just yesterday.
We don't have the votes either to proceed, get on a talking filibuster, nor to sustain one if we got on it. But that is just a function of math. And there isn't anything I can do about that. I mean, I understand the president's got a passion to see this issue addressed, as we all do. Because I think
can't you start naming names? Can't tell us who doesn't support it, right? Tell us. That's the first thing you can do. But again, that would mean being a leader. He doesn't want to be a leader, right? He doesn't want to be a leader.
I never heard. How is it hard to get an ID? I don't understand how is it so hard. All these programs that the Democrat Party got out here. How is it hard for them to get an ID? Yeah, all these programs.
I think it's important that everybody understand that this really is about the votes. It's about the math.
Now, what leaders
And somebody in a chat, if somebody that you know don't have no ID, go help them go get the ID. Go ahead and spend that $30 and make sure they got the ID.
Yeah, Democrats are just going to filibuster it, right? And they're going to vote against it, and that's it. And then all the Republicans will vote for it. And then, he'll move on and pretend like, oh, I tried. There's nothing I can do about it, right? Democrats blocked it. He thinks people are dumb, right?
Going to a talking filibuster, what you're going to have is mandatory 60 votes for that bill to move forward. Democrats are not going to provide any votes for it, so it is doomed to fail at this point unless something drastic changes. But it does show you the pressure that Thune and other Republicans are under to move on this. There are a lot of calls from the president and others to pass this bill. Another indication of that is Senator John Cornyn. This is someone who has long time been sort of associated with the Republican establishment. He has for years opposed changing or ending the filibuster, but he's changed that view today, releasing an op-ed. And he says, for many years, I believe that if the Senate scrapped the filibuster, Texas and our nation would stand to lose more than we would gain. But when the reality on the ground changes, leaders must take stock and adapt. And he went on to continue that thought and basically say that Democrats are weaponizing the Senate's rules to block the SAVE Act, defund Department of Homeland Security, and hurt the American people, all to spite President Donald Trump. Now, Cornyn signaling that he is shifting his position is notable. It also isn't happening in a vacuum. He's in a very tough primary right now for the Republican nomination to keep his seat in Texas. His challenger, Ken Paxton, is actually pushing Cornyn on this very issue. So it's, stands to reason that he might politically be incentivized to make this shift. Still notable when you've got people
Salty, good morning.
Now saying we should nuke the filibuster in a way that never has before.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? I think that's actually a pretty valid point in the sense that what are Democrats doing right now? They've literally shut down the government multiple times over the past few months, withholding paychecks, putting our country in danger, withholding welfare benefits too, right? Refusing to allow people to feed themselves, right? With the food stamps, okay? All on behalf of illegal immigrants. They're willing to cause as much chaos and destruction as possible. And you got Republicans sitting back, twiddling their thumbs, talking about I'm afraid of what Democrats are going to do if they take back power. Oh, God, right? It's weak. It's weak. That's what it is, weak at this point. Democrats already showed they don't care. They'll shut down the government for whatever reason. They'll find excuses to do it. They don't care. They've already done it multiple times. Right now you have TSA agents who are not getting paid, right? Not showing up to work, quitting en masse, Because Democrats say, screw Homeland Security. We don't give a damn. We're going to keep it shut down. We're going to do what we want to do because we want what we want, and that's it. And Republicans, in their refusal to actually grow some cojones and to give Democrats the same smoke that Democrats are giving them right now, is one of the reasons why, if they do lose the midterms, it's kind of going to be deserved in the sense that you're not giving voters something to vote for, right? If you actually can pass something like this, right? If you grow some cojones, maybe, just maybe, Republican voters will reward the Republicans and say, hey, you guys actually got this done. You actually showed that you can stand up to Democrats. You gave us a reason to get out here and to vote outside of just not wanting Democrats to take back power, right? Actually do something. Do something that's very popular. Do something that's popular. Give people a reason to get excited to get out and vote.
Illegal immigrants make
Probably the best way to prevent Democrats
this country billions.
Right?
How they make this country big and they send their money
A
overseas?
great way to earn the vote.
They're not helping the country out. They send their money overseas.
We're going to take it to them.
That's not helping.
We're going to pass the SAVE Act.
It's helping other
and we're going to
countries.
do something that a vast majority of the people in this country want. Just saying, right? But, that would require the Republicans to actually want to win, right? Sometimes I believe that they don't want to win. They want to be the minority. Because if they're the minority, then they don't have to do anything, right? Clearly, you can see when they're the majority, they have a hard time actually doing stuff. So, to me, it seems like they want to be in the minority. And that's the sad part about it. So, we're going to see if the president can pressure John Thune to actually
full responsibility for that. And while we do make mistakes, it is important to acknowledge and correct those errors when they happen.
And there was a report in the New York Times, and they interviewed an engineer from Tehran, and what he said was interesting. He said that a lot of people in Tehran, in Iran, actually don't necessarily want the bombs to stop dropping, because if the bombs stop dropping, it means that the Iranian regime currently in place is still in place. And for them, they said, we are thought of as human shields for the Iranian regime. So we want this regime gone. So I actually think, of course, bombings are horrible, especially when they accidentally kill young girls. That is absolutely tragic and awful. But I do think the Iranian people see this as a risk calculation and are saying, look, if the choice is to live under the current Iranian regime, at least according to this guy in the New York Times.
Yes, one guy in the New York Times. In that same story, there were other people who were opposed to the regime, who had been opposed to the regime, but now feel pressure.
Let's switch it up.
Are supporting the regime against the United States.
If they're supporting suicide, right? And
I think
Let's switch it up. Let's go to
We should not
this.
be meddling in anybody's. We should not be trying to make regime change, period.
So how many protests did you go to protest Obama's strikes?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Like 5?
I don't know.
1?
I don't know.
Ukraine, were you against funding their military?
No. Being against Russia?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you supported sending $175 billion to them?
To Ukraine, yes.
Were you part of the Tea Party then? That must have
No.
been...
Are you kidding me?
That must have been the protest you were part of.
No, I was not part of the Tea Party.
So what protest were you part of under the Obama admin? She's lying to me on International Women's Day. Well, we'll ignore him today. We'll get your voice out today. We'll not let him have any of our attention. What are you protesting today? We'll keep him away from you.
Okay, the war.
Okay. Why so?
Because I don't want innocent people to die.
Right. Right.
Okay,
Do you think any of their claims?
I don't think that Bibi and Trump are the worst people in the world. They make Putin almost look good.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. If you supported our funding and our help for weapons and stuff in Ukraine against Russia, did you support that?
Being against Russia?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you supported sending $175 billion to them?
What?
Did you support the $175 billion we sent to Ukraine?
To Ukraine, yes. I support.
And you supported us sending intelligence and weapons to them, right?
Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Ukrainian, so yes, I support them.
Okay. So you support us funding someone else's war, and you're okay with that. So why is it about Iran that you don't want anything to do with that?
I don't like the fact that they went in and killed all those schoolgirls.
How do you know that they did that?
How
I've
do
seen
you know?
pictures.
Yeah. How do you know?
I seen pictures. Wow.
They said Israel did it.
Incredible evidence.
On the news. I mean, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But you weren't either, so you don't know either.
No, I don't. That's what I'm saying. I'm asking what you
They
know.
lie to us.
Well, who do you think lies more? The Iranian state media? Their state media?
Equal. I think they're equal.
Okay, so Iranian state media and like CNN are equal.
Probably.
Okay, that's a good admission. I was not expecting you to say that.
I'm for the people, not the government.
Of course.
Okay?
Good morning, good morning. Thank you guys for being in the chat.
Whether they're Dems
Everybody
or
is welcome.
Republicans, most of them have to go.
Well, let me ask you this, because you're against the war with Iran, and I don't particularly have a strong stance to support it or not. But I am wondering, why be so out here protesting against that? How many protests did you do against the Obama administration when they bombed and killed 800 civilians just with drone strikes?
Well, how many did you support? Well, you weren't even here for Vietnam. I don't support any of
But
them.
how many protests were you going to against Obama?
I wasn't here.
Were you alive?
I was alive. I demonstrated against Vietnam. I demonstrated when Kennedy was running.
I'm specifically asking about Obama because he bombed the Middle East. He killed 4,000 people just with drone strikes. 800 of them were civilians.
I don't think it's right.
But why didn't you protest that?
They didn't have it then.
You could have come out here by yourself.
I don't come out by myself. It's not safe.
Okay.
Okay, I was held at gunpoint in Pasco. Okay? Don't come out here.
Okay.
But I don't support
Hey, Green, you were about her pooping.
But you do support
Listen to the message she bringing. Listen to the message. Who cares about she pooped about herself in college? That was in college.
Do we have to protect ourselves?
Yes, but they're not doing it. He may. You know what? I don't want to argue with you. Really.
I don't want to argue with you either.
Why the frog
I just
right
want
there?
to have a dialogue so we can understand where we're coming from.
Find someone else.
The back of her sign says, "Protect our children." Casey, from mass shootings. Next time it could.
You think that's okay?
Oh, mass shootings? No. Actually, I have a question for you about that because I love your sign. Actually, if you could turn it around and show
Isn't
the
Trump
camera,
still a billionaire?
Where do most of mass shootings happen?
In schools. With the children. Where they killed us. Where?
And they're gang related and gun-free zones and mostly inner cities.
Okay.
Did you know that, ma'am?
And ICE is good too, right?
So
Man,
Green, what she's saying is full of shit.
About gun rights and mass shootings. Did you know that most mass shootings?
There's too many in the schools, okay?
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you, but the majority of mass shootings are being performed by gang activity in inner cities. You know, and
the transgender community.
That there weren't any demonstrations
36
happening.
of them.
When the Obama administration was bombing everybody, that's when the Tea Party was happening. She could have joined one of those and been against that war and everything, but she wasn't because it's selective outrage. As always, you guys know that before I go out to any protest, any college campus, I go to ground.news/liberty to get my news from both sides of the aisle to see what these people are talking about and reading and consuming. So I know their talking points before they even know them themselves. I want to highlight something on the app with a subscription for you guys. There is something called a blind spot. And this app knows that I consume mostly right-wing news. So if I want to look at something that's going on, there is a blind spot, something highlighted that the right wing is not talking about, but the leftists are. Same thing for down here, for the left wing, for the right wing. This app has so many great tools, so you can truly stay informed on any topic, on any side of the aisle. You can get 40% off if you click the link in the description or the QR code on the screen right now, ground.news/liberty. No dictator.
Says.
There is no greater tyranny than that which is perpetrated under the shield of law and the name of justice. Who said that?
That is, I think it was Rousseau. It's like a 17th century French philosopher.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So when you say no dictators, no kings, and everything like that, how have you seen Donald Trump be a dictator or a king?
Well, just look around what's happening right now.
Yeah.
You know, everything. You know, I mean, all these people that are on disability and things and, you know, give us a finger. It's like, it's coming down to them, you know. And
well, what examples do you have of him being a dictator or a king?
Just listen to his quotes. Just listen.
Can you give me a quote?
Yeah, basically, the bit about we're going to kill anybody in Iran that tries to think that.
Thank you.
I wanted to be the one to put somebody in. Now, that's not somebody meddling And
That's a big quote you memorized.
well, he keeps saying it about 10 times a day now, so people need to listen.
Okay, what's another quote from him?
Where are you from?
Green substance. I said that too.
I'm from-
Every bum,
It's a YouTube.
beggar,
My name's Caitlin.
and drugged out
Yeah, do you have
person
any other
got
proof or
IDs.
examples or quotes that you've memorized?
No, I'm just trying to live day to day.
Okay.
Keep my head above water.
Well, what do you think about Iran's dictator? It's International Women's Day.
Right.
Would you rather be a woman in Iran or here under the Trump administration?
The point right now is we should not be meddling in anybody's.
Okay.
We should not be trying to make regime change.
Josh, good
I
morning.
agree with you.
All right, and what are they doing for the women in this country?
Right.
You know, they talk about saving all the women. Look what they're doing to us and to you and to your daughters.
I know. Yeah, you know, that's interesting you say that. So you were protesting against the Obama administration doing his regime change too. You were out here protesting?
I've been out
USA.
here protesting since before the Iraq War in Washington, D.C. when there were 500,000.
So how many protests did you go to protest Obama's strikes?
Like and subscribe.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Like 5?
I don't know.
1?
I don't know.
Can you tell me
She's
where
lost.
you were?
What are you talking about? What regime change are you talking about?
Yeah, in Libya, in Yemen, in Egypt.
Oh yeah, Libya was bad, and same with Hillary Clinton.
So what signs did you have when you came out to protest?
No, I was just out there with the people.
Damn.
You know,
Where-
it's
what
not-
city?
It's not a sign thing.
Yeah, what city were you in?
Out here, Tampa.
So you were in Tampa protesting the Obama administration when he ordered strikes against Yemen and Libya.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
And we all should be. We all should be out now in the streets.
But you don't remember what signs you held up?
No, I don't, and I don't really care. I don't think they're that important. I think bodies in the street are what important.
Okay, so we're against regime change. You've protested Obama and Trump, both, right?
I'm not. Yeah. Well, I'm not worried about. The guy that's in power right now is doing things that nobody else has ever done, and he's going to continue doing them.
How do you? He's never done this. Well, when you protested Obama, you were protesting that, right? He killed 800 civilians just with drone strikes.
They all have. So is every president, United president.
I know, but you're saying Trump is doing something that's never been done before, but you were protesting Obama, your words, for doing this too. Did you lie to me?
No, I didn't lie to you. I did not lie to you. And you know, why aren't you out here?
I was a child.
You were a child?
I was a child in the Obama days.
Well, I'm not talking about Obama. I'm not talking about JFK. I'm not talking about Reagan.
You know what? I think
this gentleman.
I know, and we're talking about Obama too.
About wars all
Were you
over
part
the
of the
place.
Tea Party then? That must have been.
No. Are you kidding me?
That must have been the protest you were part of.
No. I was not part of the Tea Party.
So what protest were you part of under the Obama admin? She's lying to me on International Women's Day. That is not nice. Were
Not
you also
nice.
against the Ukraine funding for their regime change and stuff like that? Were you against funding their war?
Whose wars?
Ukraine. Were you against funding their military?
No.
Okay.
No, because we were supposed to be. We've lied about. I don't know how anybody in the rest of the world trusts anything that the United States says.
So how is
We
it
back
okay?
out of everything.
Well, fucking
I'm just
leave
wondering,
then.
and I'm not
If you
saying
don't like
taking
America,
a position
leave.
on the military strikes in Iran. What I'm wondering is, you support funding Ukraine, $175 billion, a lot of advanced weaponry to them and intelligence against Russia for their war.
What about Netanyahu? What about Israel? What about right now? They're asking Congress for another $50 billion to give the Pentagon.
Yeah,
to
but
build
you
more stuff.
supported the Ukraine's funding, right?
I support our allies. We've thrown them under the bus, is what we've done.
Yeah. So Israel, you support Israel then?
Absolutely not.
Just some allies.
I don't support. I support the Israeli people. I do not support their government.
Women's Day today.
Yeah.
Okay, is it like National Women's Day?
It's tough.
I think.
I didn't vote for Joe Biden, but hey, he was our president. I didn't bitch about it. I had no complaints about it. It is what it was.
So.
It is. Yes, it is. Okay, what does your sign mean?
Well, to vote, to get out and vote, and let your opinions be known.
Okay, women vote. Very good, very good. What's your sign? There are no bees without a queen. Strong women, strong world. Okay, is there an opposite side at all? No? Okay, what's the...
without the queen, there's no men.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay. Yes.
Women.
Subscribe. Let's get to 1,500. Why not? 1,500 subscribers. Why not?
Women are also equally as important. You can't have one without the other.
Absolutely. We've been talking a lot about how, because, Iran's in the news recently and how they treat their women over there. And would you say you're thankful to be a woman in America, right?
Joe Biden left, $86 billion equipment in Afghanistan? Crazy.
Now under the Trump administration?
Would it be what?
Are you thankful to be a woman today, 2026, in the Trump administration?
Good one. If he was a king, y'all would not be out there protesting at all.
Where are women's rights? Where are reproductive rights? Men get Viagra. What they do to women? Took away the right to abortion, the right to health care. No. Women are not treated the way they should be in America. How many women are in high positions?
Do you think, would you rather be a woman under Trump's America or in Iran, for example?
They're both the same.
You think Iran and Trump's America are equal?
Yes.
Okay.
They're taking women's rights away.
Yeah. Well, actually, in Iran, you actually it's criminalized to get an abortion there. Here, you actually do have the ability to take pills that do end the life of the child in the womb.
No. No, we're on a different page altogether. That's okay.
He has no
home in Brooksville.
Okay. Then why have people been
They're
so
not
mean
calling
to
him
me
king,
today?
so why they had a protest?
That's a very good question.
You had a whole protest.
They hate somebody that's trying to make the world a better place.
I'm trying to. Why? That's what I mean. Like, why do they hate Trump then?
Why do they hate Trump?
Yeah.
Well, he's not done a lot of great things for us.
He hasn't?
No, he hasn't. I mean, for instance, the affordable health insurance. We had the Affordable Care Act for something, and that has not been provided to us.
Okay, but that's the thing. He didn't do. Republicans had nothing to do with the Affordable Care Act. That wasn't Trump's thing.
Your health care. The Republicans had nothing to do with the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah.
So it had to be with the pharmaceutical companies.
So you said Trump hasn't done anything good, and then you brought up Obamacare, Affordable Care Act, but he had nothing to do with that. That was no Republican supported that. So I don't think that's a good example.
I think that's a good example.
I don't think that's a good example to point to how Trump. You just actually told me how actually Democrats are to blame for the healthcare crisis. That's all you just did.
Well, since Trump has been in office for almost 8 years going on, I wouldn't say that's necessarily the truth. It was okay when Obama was in office. Then all of a sudden, when it came out to be 2026, my health insurance went doubled. Since the Republicans have the House majority, I don't see how that's a Democrat.
So I agree with you, though. I agree with you that they need to fix the healthcare stuff.
So all I want is more affordable.
Yeah,
Just
but
affordability.
that's not something. I don't think that you can point to Trump and say he's hurt me in this way because he had nothing to do with the healthcare. What's another point?
Well, another point is the pharmaceutical companies like to raise the price. It's not the government that's raising the prices of the health insurance.
Trump actually signed an executive order to prevent skyrocketing cost of certain medication and to declare prices before you go and you purchase it for transparency with the pharmaceutical companies.
Well, unfortunately, I've not seen that happen.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Anything else you can point to?
No, at the moment.
Okay. Do you hate Donald Trump?
No, I don't hate Donald Trump.
Good.
I really don't. Be honest, because I'm very transparent. I voted for him the first time. Did I did the second time? No, I did not.
I came out today for Women's Day. I heard it was Women's Day specifically. You're not wearing pink.
Well, you can't see it.
What?
You can't see it.
I have a question, though. It said on the flyer to wear pink for Women's Day. Why would we wear pink for women? Isn't that kind of like gender stereotypes?
Yeah.
So why are we wearing pink? Isn't that kind of stereotyping women?
Well, it's just our way of showing support.
Well, what about trans women?
Well, no, that's a really good question. Let me think about that. They should be striped, pink stripes.
With some blue in it. And maybe a triangle to represent the brown and the black people, too.
Are you in charge here? Because you should be running this place.
I know, right? And then we should also put a circle in the middle of this. We could call it the progressive pride flag.
Pride flag?
Pride flag. We could call it the progressive pride flag. What do you think? We could put a circle in it, and so it could be intersex for all of the different gender and sexualities. What do you think?
I think it's fantastic because I would be bad. I'd just come up with like a white circle, but that just doesn't represent anything. And you've got a much better idea.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Maybe I will petition to be the president of this group here. All right, so Burger King guy, he's better than Trump, huh?
Well, these are kings and these are.
I agree with you on this one. He's much better than.
And Statue
he is the king of kings, isn't he?
Yeah, it's hard to argue that one.
It's hard to argue
and
that
Statue
one.
of Liberty, we should all.
So a statue is better than Trump as well.
Well, the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
Is probably better than maybe arguably any president, but that guy, yeah, he has no business being where he is.
Okay. Why not? He won the popular vote.
Well, I would say the biggest problem I have with him is the secretaries he puts in charge of cabinets.
Okay.
That, from my assessment, are totally unqualified.
Okay.
But I think that's what he wants, so he can do what he wants, and they shut up and leave him alone.
Okay.
And now Kristi Noem got in trouble doing exactly what he wants her to do, but he didn't want to take the heat, so he fired her.
Let me ask you this. Well, she didn't get fired. She was placed somewhere else for a new convoy that she's going to be leading, right?
Okay.
Did you know that?
No, he didn't know that.
Another position. She was removed from her.
Yeah, she was transferred
but she
to a new
still
one.
got her job.
I'm kind of excited about the new guy coming in. He seems really gung-ho. She did a great job with the border, though. We got to give Kristi that.
I felt sorry for her because watching her in the meeting, the House or Senate, wherever it was, compared to Pam Bondi, she looked like she was earnestly listening and trying to answer the questions.
Okay.
But the way Congress is today, they just yell at you. If you're a Republican, the Democrats yell at you. If you're a Democrat, the Republicans yell at you.
Appreciate that.
They don't care about what your answer is. They're just trying to get on TV.
Sure, yeah.
But she looked like she was at least more conscientious than most people that are in there.
Okay.
I could see her thinking about that and saying, well, and trying to give an answer, then they interrupt her.
Of course.
And I felt sorry for her because from my position, she's doing what she's told to do, and it puts anybody in an uncomfortable position.
Of course. Do you think she did a good job with the border, though? Closing the border, Trump and Kristi Noem together? There's 0 border crossings in nearly a year.
I don't know enough specifics about that to say exactly what they did to close the border. I think going into Home Depot and grabbing a bunch of people because they're Hispanic and zip tying and throwing them in the van and then telling us they're going after the most outrageous rapists and murderers is a bold-faced lie, and it scares everybody.
Well, they said the worst of the worst first. That doesn't mean everyone who's illegal gets a free pass. And actually, when ICE is called, even here in the state of Florida, and they're saying, hey, we have an illegal alien here, depending on their circumstances, sometimes they let them go. They don't actually pick up every single illegal alien. I think they should. But they don't actually do that. So that's not true of what's happening. But she did do a good job at the border. We can't deny that. 0 illegal crossings.
Yeah. Well, I would say the problem isn't, the problem with the border is Congress.
I wanted to get your signs. He has no plan. He has to go. What's the other one say? No kings. Let's practice love. Okay, why are you guys out here today?
To support our democracy. We need our democracy, and we're losing it. Step by step, the things that are going on in Washington are not good. Now we're all over the world fighting different things to distract us from what's important.
Yeah.
We need to support our people. And we don't need to support someone who cares more about himself.
Okay. What are some things that you see that is stripping our democracy away? What's one? Because you said step by step. What's the first step that you've seen?
Well, the immigration thing. We can't be tackling people who are American citizens. We certainly can't be just rounding, the worst of the worst. I go with that. Everybody goes with that. But we can't be saying, let's just take everybody. We can't be killing American citizens over that. And it started in Minneapolis, but it's going to continue around the country if we don't fight it. We have to fight for them, and we have to fight for us.
Did you know here in Florida with the 287G agreement that the state police has, what cities have with ICE enforcement officers, that they've gotten hundreds of gang members and rapists and child molesters out of the state. Did you know that?
I have seen things like that, and that's okay. Take the worst of the worst. I am not against that. I am for getting rid of the worst of the worst. I am not for going against our American citizens or going against people who are trying to do it correctly. People who have been waiting in line, waiting for the court system to get to them. And we take them and we put them
heaven knows where. And what's happening down in South Florida with that Alcatraz thing they put up down there? We're not getting paid back by that. And that was a promise. You know, Trump made that promise, and now.
So what should the consequence be for crossing the border illegally?
I don't have a consequence for that. I don't know. I don't have that answer.
Okay.
How would I have that answer?
Well, because you're against what's happening right now. So I'm just wondering what your solution is when someone crosses the border illegally. What do we do?
Are they even doing that? I thought Trump comes out there every day and says, no, they've stopped that.
Yeah, in the last 9 months they stopped it, but under the Joe Biden administration, tens of millions of people came across the border illegally. And so that's where people are like, we've got to get these people out of the country because they weren't vetted to come in the first place. And now
they're killing people.
Yeah, they
over
are.
And over again, it's proven that illegal people who have entered illegally get into a whole lot less trouble than people who are here.
Well, actually, the source that you're citing actually doesn't differentiate between legal and illegal immigrant. I know what source you're citing. We can put it up on the screen. They don't differentiate between legal and illegal. And when you look at Texas, actually they did.
There you go, pretty thing. It's what the United States is.
Illegal immigrants.
It's a constitutional republic, not democracy.
Murder.
You are wrong.
And what's your source for that?
I listen to the news just like you do. I read.
What news do you watch?
I watch a variety. I turn on Fox at least once a week just to
Is
see
Google
what
wrong? Pretty thing.
And I hear them and I say, okay, I see why people think the way they do, because they constantly are bombarded with those lies. They constantly stand there.
Can you correct the lies then?
I have.
Can you do it right now?
I don't know what lie you're talking about. You know, there are so many lies out there that come. Who do you guys represent? Obviously not us.
Oh no, I never claim to represent you guys at all. I don't claim to represent anyone. I'm just myself and my YouTube channel.
Yeah, who are you though?
I'm not hiding it. My name's Caitlin. It's Liberty Hangout right here. I come out to protest and have dialogue and get people's word out there. I have about 3 million combined audience members, and so you guys have the opportunity to get.
Yeah, the questions you ask definitely indicate that you think that what's going on in Washington is okay.
When did I say that?
You've said it several times.
No, I didn't. I didn't say anything like that. I just asked for your proof that illegal aliens aren't murdering anybody when we know that they do. Just this year alone, there's been dozens murdered, and illegal aliens.
If I were you,
I would
disengage.
Oh well, it's Women's Day, right? We're just having two women having a conversation, right?
Well, I was having a conversation before with her.
Yeah,
before
you
came
you
here.
should make way for the woman on Women's Day, right?
No,
I thought it was Women's Day.
it is Women's Day.
Okay.
And I am
Well, then,
here.
can you let me?
Wait a minute.
Oh,
Let me
you're going to
talk.
talk over a woman on Women's
Yes,
Day?
I am.
That's not very progressive.
I'm going to talk over you for just a second. I was
That's
standing.
not very nice.
Well, I'm
I am
sorry.
a woman today on Women's Day. Are you a woman?
No, but I'm trying to get in touch with my.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be mansplained. I don't want to be mansplained.
Okay, well,
Please
Why
don't.
you just leave then, honey?
Yeah. So anyway, do you have any proof for your claims?
I look at the proof all the time.
Anyway,
do I have anything to give you
suggest
today
don't
right now?
talk to her anymore.
Wow. On Women's Day, you're going to tell women not to use their free speech out here?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say you're doing a very good job of trying to be a junior Charlie Kirk. And I was here with this woman.
Well, that's a good thing, right? Being like Charlie Kirk is a good thing?
It depends. Some people might think that. It's not my opinion.
Excuse me?
Please go away.
It's Women's Day. I would appreciate if I weren't mansplained and boomer-splained on this
Anyway,
Women's Day.
You're on your own.
She doesn't need you to back her up on Women's Day. Why?
Turn around. We have individuals who have been taken into places where we don't even know where they are. And I am not personally affected by that, but I am. Because I care. Call me woke, call me whatever you want to call me. But I care about people, and I see what's
Do you care about the American citizens who are being killed by illegal aliens? You claim it's not happening, but it is. Rachel Morin.
It's not happening.
You know who
like
she
you
is?
think it is.
Then correct me. How's it happening?
It's not happening to the. Just go away. I can't say anything that will make you believe what I'm thinking.
Try.
Just
Why
try.
should I? Who are you?
Try, prove me
Who
wrong.
are you? Some little journalist that wants to go on YouTube and pass her shit? Oh, I don't think so.
Okay. And what are you, some old woman out here trying to tell me lies? And when I confront you about it, you can't back yourself up?
Okay, you prove. No, see, you state facts, and you say they're not facts. You state statistics.
Is it a fact that Rachel Warren was killed by an illegal alien?
It is.
Okay. Is it a fact that illegal aliens are driving semi-trucks that have no idea what the road sign?
On X, I figured I'd share it with you guys. Why not? Charlie Kirk was ahead of his time. Rest in heaven, man.
This is one of Charlie Kirk's final warnings.
Battle is coming to the West, and the enemies are wokeism or Marxism combining with Islamism to go after what we call the American way of life. And the American way of life is very simple. I want to be able to get married, buy a home, have kids, allow them to ride their bike till the sun goes down, send them to a good school, have a low-crime neighborhood, not to have my kid be taught the lesbian, gay, transgender garbage in their school, while also not having them have to hear the Muslim call to prayer 5 times a day. That's important.
Come on, man. New York, Minnesota,
We want the American way of life, which is, by the way, Christendom. Christians, our sacrifice, our toil, our vision, the outgrowth of the scriptures gave us Western civilization. And this is where I think is a great rallying cry. Doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, doesn't matter if you're Asian, doesn't matter if you're black or white. Everybody, if you are Christian and Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, these two threats are combining forces to come after us. And it's time that the church stands and rises.
Hey, can I just add, there's nothing wrong with wanting that. Believing in the American dream, assimilating into American culture. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with talking about it. There's nothing wrong with desiring it. It's not a bad thing. Certainly not hate speech. It is what this country's founded on, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Signs mean and they're killing drivers?
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's true. Hi, how are you?
Good. What can I do for you?
What are you out here today? Veterans for, is that Kamala?
Subscribe.
Okay, as a veteran, what made you support Kamala?
Because Donald Trump is a moron.
Okay.
Okay. Everything he does, everything he touches turns to crap.
Well, the border, he did touch the border, and that's doing pretty well.
Wait a minute. Yeah, he did that. I'll give him that.
Okay.
But ICE is a joke. These guys running around with masks, running around trying to kill people for no reason.
They're trying to do that?
They are doing that. Are you kidding me? There's like been 16 people killed by ICE agents, some in their homes, 2 in the streets. Good, petty. Give me a break.
Just on the minimal research I did before I came out today, well, could you let me finish a sentence? I was able to identify 37 people just in 2025 and 2024 between the both of them, just in my minimal 30-minute research, that were killed by illegal aliens in this country. Completely preventable because they were supposed to be removed from this country.
So let me ask you a question. So some of these people who are brown, they're illegal aliens. They're murderers.
You think that?
No, do you?
I did not say that. You're the one who pointed them out and said that.
That is exactly what you're saying.
How?
Because you just said 37 people were killed by illegal aliens.
Oh my goodness, you think every illegal alien is brown, don't you?
No, you do.
Folks, do not talk.
You do. I'm done.
You think all illegal aliens are brown, don't you?
No,
That's
they're
racist.
not. I'm racist.
That's super racist. That's the most racist thing I've heard today.
Or you. Give me a break.
Truth and science over lies and fear. Where do you see truth and science not prevailing?
Who are you?
My name's Caitlin. What's your name?
I'm Dave.
Hi, Dave. Nice to meet you. Where do you see truth and science not prevailing?
In healthcare.
Okay. Are you meaning like when they claim that abortion is healthcare and abortion is a woman's right? Is that kind of what you mean?
When people interfere with the science.
Okay. What's the science say about unborn children in the womb?
What's your question?
What does the science say about?
Unborn children? They're not born yet.
I know, that's why I called them unborn. Yeah. Preborn, if you prefer the term preborn. What does science say about them when life begins?
You can go away now.
What does science say?
You can go away now.
You wouldn't dare treat a woman like this on International Women's Day, right?
Fuck up.
That's pretty nasty to treat a woman like that.
No, you're just being in my face. I don't want you in my face.
You know, I think fear is winning you over instead of science.
I don't care what you think. You should move along now.
Literally have the Constitution right there on their table that they can read. I could actually pass it out to you guys. Actually, I'd love to get to know you guys more.
Dan, why you in the chat?
You at all? Yeah,
What?
I don't really
Glad
want
you're in
to
the
get to know
chat.
you at all. Get to know you. We know you enough already.
What do you know about me?
We know that you're here to agitate us, and we are not having it. Okay?
Are you feeling agitated?
Go away. No, I'm just.
Then I'm not doing a good job, am I?
No, you're not.
Okay, so you guys are cool. Cool as a cucumber, right?
Y'all were about her pooping in her pants. Listen to the message. Who cares she pooped in her pants? Who cares if she pooped in her pants? Listen to the message, the question she asking these older voters that are disillusioned. They watch CNN and View, they go out here and protest of stupid shit. Come on, y'all.
For Terry, for the.
Pretty, I'm gonna stay in the chat as much as I want. This is my channel. Stop saying that to me. Stay out the chat. This is my chat. You can leave. Let's grow and have some fun.
For the child molester.
He can just move out of the.
Caroline gets fired. This girl can go in. Yeah.
Well, she's about to have a baby, so she'll be on maternity leave. You think
that maybe you can apply for her job then, girlfriend?
Very good. I like that. I like Caroline Levitt. She's a strong woman on International Women's Day. Isn't Caroline Levitt strong?
I think that she's a pawn in the misogynistic government. She's being used.
She's threatening to pepper spray that guy with the MAGA hat.
What about Joe Biden pooping his pants overseas on the world stage? He pooped in his pants. Y'all cool with that, huh? And fall up the stairs, fall off his bike. If the man fell one more time, he'd be in a wheelchair.
Come on, you don't sound business. You're not tough. Randy, come on. My eyes are wide open.
Boo, coward! I'm not a coward. I'm not a coward at all.
You're shaking.
He's shaking.
Here, you want to hold on to that?
Go home and pick on some more people. Hey, fatty, I'm talking to you. You shut up.
I didn't say a single word. He's calling people fat. I didn't say a single word.
Him telling that we need to go to nursing homes. Have you captured that?
I think that might be best for you. Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, so you agree with that?
Yes.
I see. Okay. Well, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Because we have the wisdom.
What wisdom do you have, ma'am? Could you share some with me?
What? Get you the camera and step at it.
Ma'am, you're actively hitting me, actually.
I'm saying I don't want you here in front of my face. So go away.
What is the age limit on a nursing home? Because she should be in one too. I love your woman sign. Can I read? I'm from the back, so can I read the back of your sign? On the other side. What's it say?
Don't talk to her.
Can you read your sign?
Yes,
Can you go ahead and read it?
I did. Anyway.
Strong women don't scare me. Oh wait, you're not scared. Are you scared right
Why
now?
are you leaving?
Walking away, sir. You're not scared, are you? Strong women scare him. He's flat out lying on his sign. I can't believe it. Your friends are all the way over there. Anti-fascist ass. That's right. That's right. What brought you out here today? Out here today. War crimes won't hide sex crimes. Did you see all of the Congress people who voted against releasing the files about themselves? Did you see that? There were only, I think, 37 across both sides that voted to release files about taxpayer money going towards paying off sexual assault abuses. Did you hear about that? That was crazy, right? They want to release the Epstein files, but they won't release their own files. Do you think there's anything going on over there with their system of government and their laws that would constitute as sex crimes?
No. He getting paid. He can't say nothing.
Don't know. Once a little girl has a period over there, she can get married, forced into a marriage with an adult man over there, and be forced to have his children. He rapes her. That's a sex crime, right? Yeah. But we're not going to let their war crimes of trying to annihilate the United States, chanting death to America. We're not going to let their war crimes hide that, right?
Crash and scream. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Are you going to tell your grandkids about that? What they do in Islamic
Thank
states?
you. Good morning. USA, baby.
I'm going to tell my grandkids. What the Iranian regime and what Islamic states, what sex crimes they're doing. You guys could go hand in hand together. Do you guys have anything to say to the audience about why they should be out here joining you today at your protest? No? Okay. It's usually how it goes.
Right, Doug. That's a good one. Trying to figure out which flag to flag in America besides the American flag. Yep, that's what they doing.
Thank you guys for your time. What's the other side of your sign say? No rapists and government housing. I agree with that. So, you know who also gets government housing? Illegal aliens. They get government housing as well.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
That illegal aliens have been committing a lot of crime. Rape, gang rape, sex trafficking. Are you pro-ICE and pro-immigration enforcement to keep rapists out of housing?
Yeah, he getting paid. That's why he ain't saying nothing. He want that money. Get that money, bro. Get your $100, bro. Nothing wrong with that $100.
Nice. I love that. Thank you so much. I think we're on the same side here. Have a good day. Put some sunscreen on your head. You don't want to get sunburned, okay?
So liberty, hang out.
Yes.
Because you believe in free speech. You believe in freedom to assemble. Peacefully.
Thank you for the gift. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I also think
We're gonna grow
liberty
together.
doesn't
Let's
just
do it.
mean what's in the Constitution. I think people get the most liberty when they follow Jesus Christ and they turn away from things that they think give them liberty and freedom, but actually is holding them down.
Separation of church and state.
Well, that's actually nowhere in the Constitution, but I think that we should. I think we should rule from a Christian worldview. Yes, I do.
What about the Judeo?
I'm a Christian.
Well, so that's the only religion that matters?
Yes.
Judaism doesn't?
I pray for Jews to convert to Christianity.
Okay, so you are a religious channel is basically what you are.
No, you're just asking me my opinions and I'm just sharing them with you.
Okay. Well, but you said that liberty is more than.
Liberty is more than the rights we are afforded. It's also the promotion of following Jesus Christ, because our sins keep us.
While you're being filmed?
What?
Why are you wearing sunglasses while you're being filmed?
Because we're in Florida and I've been in this. I can take them off if you want to see my eyes. People tell me I have beautiful eyes and I actually did a great job with my makeup today. I might have a little, thank you. I might have a little makeup mark from my sunglasses, but I think that freedom and liberty is more than just our rights afforded in the Constitution. I think that it comes from the freedom we have when we follow Jesus Christ. He's the only person that can set us free. Hold on. He's the only person that can set us free, because this life is only a portion of what we're going to experience. Our true freedom and our true liberty come when we are in heaven and our eternal life with Jesus Christ.
That's your belief.
That's just the truth.
That's your belief. You don't have any facts to back up your belief.
Okay.
So, I'm really not prepared to argue.
Well, why do I took my sunglasses off to talk to you. Can you take your sign down so I can talk to you?
I have a question.
Can you take your sign down so I can talk to you?
I really don't want to be filmed.
Why not?
But you are here to be filmed. So that's why I asked why you're wearing your sunglasses. the trouble I have with your belief is that it leaves out all the other religions of the world.
That's right. Yes.
And there, so no other religion than.
Well, I wouldn't be a Christian
this
then.
idea about liberty and everyone else's idea of religion.
I'll give you about like 30 more seconds here. If I were, if I'm a Christian, why would I proudly say I'm a Christian if I thought all the other religions were also true or equal to mine? Then I wouldn't be anything at all. I'm a Christian because I believe Jesus Christ is the only way to eternal life and true liberty and true freedom.
Buddhists believe that Buddha is the only.
They're wrong.
And Hindus, everyone has, and Jews
doesn't mean they're
believe in Jesus. So
I know. I pray that they convert to Christianity, and I pray that they accept Jesus.
I guess that's a good Christian point of view.
Thank you.
You pray for their
conversion
and eventual wellness.
Conversion
and wellness, basically, right? Because they're not whole unless they're Christian.
Huh?
They're not whole unless they're Christian.
Eternally, and in terms of salvation, right? But they are whole people who matter, and God loves them, no matter what religion they are.
So God loves everyone.
Yes. Especially you.
Especially me.
Yes, He does.
So God loves everyone, even if they don't believe in Him.
Oh, absolutely. He loves them the most. Yeah.
So shouldn't you not believe in Him so that He would love you more?
No. I don't need God to love me more. There is no one that can love me more than God loves me. But He loves the non-believers so much. He died. He sent His Son down to be brutalized and tortured and died on a cross for the non-believers. Imagine that. Imagine someone loving you so much, someone that hates you, and you still love them so much. You send yourself incarnate down as a man, your only begotten Son, and you have them tortured and bleed and die on a cross. That's amazing. And He did that for you because He loves you so much.
Current events. I'm not talking about biblical things right now.
Yeah.
What about current events? Do you think that that Muslims deserve all the rights in America that you have? They're not. You said liberty.
Okay, to be honest, I'm not going to keep talking to you if you're going to hold that up, because all the people are going to see is a nice conversation, and you're hiding behind a sign, and I'm not going to do that.
It's a nice conversation.
It is a nice conversation, but I'm not.
Maricopa County is problematic.
So, fireworks ahead. Plus, Iran is now saying it wants an end to this war. Of course it does, for goodness sakes. Of course it does. And so it's coming forward with some ideas, some reparations, some guarantees. I don't think the president's going to be there or down with any of it. However, he is saying a few things right now. He's telling the ships to go ahead and go through that Strait of Hormuz. I'll tell you, if they get fired on, we'll know Iran's not serious, right?
We don't think so.
Trump declaring victory? I don't know. How do you interpret this? He's out at a rally today, just moments ago, in Kentucky, saying this.
We did an excursion. You know what an excursion is? We had to take a little trip to get rid of some very evil people. It should have been done. For 47 years, they've been killing our people. 47.
And good news. The president's soaring with a very important, very key group. We're going to talk about that, as well as the inflation report out today. I'll tell you, inflation's really tame. Just don't tell the media, right? The media has a whole different idea on what inflation might be. But then again, the media says things like this as well.
I would say we've had 2 terrorist attacks here in the last 10 days. So can we condemn those? Why are we?
Of course. What does that have to do with Muslims?
We're talking about serious bias. Welcome to the Chris Regan Show, where, okay, in fairness, I have my bias. You know that, but I'm upfront about it. I tell you, you know exactly where I stand.
Yes.
I always try to at least show you the other side, even if we just have to explain why they're so darn wrong. Good to have you here. Big show. I want to remind you about my other company, 76 Research, because we've had enormous success over there, as well as right here at the Trish Regan Show. Just look at those portfolios, okay? That's what I'm talking about. Ash Patel's FBI secretly seizing all of those records in Maricopa County. I mean, this is just unbelievable. He got the warrant, and then he went in. They've got all this stuff right now, and I'll tell you, this is really important. It's the 2024 records, which is interesting, right? Because we'd already heard some stuff about the 2020 election, but they went in and got the 2024 records because the concern is that if this isn't locked down, if this isn't safe, then heck, what's going on? Let me go here to some sound we have from John Solomon, who did some of the initial reporting at Just the News.
The FBI has decided that the history of Maricopa County is problematic.
Yeah. Well, the president actually just sent this out on True Social, his story, John's story there at Just the News, saying, yes, great, with 3 exclamation points, right? There you go, right after that. And, just to back up for a second and sort of expose what's at stake, you have 60 non-citizens that voted, it is believed, 137 non-citizens that had registered. So this is obviously enormously concerning, and you can't have a system where you get people that aren't actually citizens. I mean, I hate to state the obvious.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Registering to vote,
like and subscribe.
Voting. So if you have so much as 1 or 2 or 5 or 10, it's a problem. 137, it starts to become an even bigger problem. You start asking yourself, how many more are there out there? Let's go to a report on CNN.
The new Maricopa County Recorder conducted a review of more than 60,000 registered voters in Arizona and say they found 137 registered voters who are not U.S. citizens. Of those, 60 individuals have voted in prior elections. What can you
tell us? Well, we can tell you, you shouldn't be voting. I mean, if you're not a citizen, for goodness sakes, why are you registered to vote? They did an audit back in 2021 of this county, and this is kind of startling. I want to go to this footage. 2021, this is the state Senate audit of those voter records, and things just didn't add up. Take a peek.
Example, we have 74,243 mail-in ballots where there is no clear record of them being sent. There should be more EV32s, more sent out than there are that are received. Specifically with these, we can tie them to a specific individual that was mailed to. And so we have 74,000 where we have them came back from individuals where we don't have a clear indication that they were ever sent out to them.
Okay, so you get what he's saying there. In other words, they had all these absentee requests. Normally they do. And then so you send the absentee requests out and then you get the absentee requests back. But in this case, the numbers didn't match, right? So they hadn't sent all those absentee ballots out, and yet somehow they got all those absentee ballots back. So that leaves you asking some questions. A lot of questions. And, I look at the media right now and I'm asking, why aren't they asking some questions? They're trying to bury this story like it doesn't even matter. And here's the reality. Okay, this is not going to change anything for 2020. It's not going to change anything for 2024. All that's decided already. But what it could do is ensure that we're not going to be faced with even just the glimmer of any kind of problem. I mean, think about how Americans are so sick of our institutions. They don't have any faith in our institutions. I saw a poll today on the Supreme Court. They don't have faith in the Supreme Court. They don't have faith in our banks. They don't have faith in journalists. Well, I get that. They don't have faith in anything anymore at all. And so how are they going to have faith in the whole beauty of this great republic and our entire voting system if you have people that are here that are non-citizens registering to vote, or worse, voting? Let's go to my former colleague, Jesse Waters on Fox News, who had some interesting points to make on it.
Arizona, Joe Biden beat Donald Trump by 11,000 votes. An audit in Maricopa County, done by an outside firm, found 57,000 questionable ballots, just in that one county. The media wasn't interested in this, and the audit wasn't as thorough as it could have been because Arizona officials wouldn't fully cooperate, and some evidence was removed and destroyed. So there's a dangerous pattern in the United States. Politicians, prosecutors, and the press are abusing their power to wage political warfare against innocent people. And even when the abuse is exposed,
I want to take that a step further in terms of the abuse of the people. The fact that you don't have journalists out there looking at this. I mean, you had a local paper. That's good. They were the first to discover it. You have some people in the media, myself included, Jesse, obviously at Fox, but the majority of the media is just walking right on past this thing like it doesn't matter. Or
Good morning, Jeff.
if they do decide to cover it, like the New York Times did today, then they cover it from the perspective of, can you believe this guy? How dare he? How dare he? How dare he? But of course, you think about Russia, and they went on and on to us about how Donald Trump stole the election. I mean, you'd think he was right there breaking into the Diebold voting machines the way they carried on. He stole the election with the help of Vladimir Putin. Well, if they're so concerned about that, why don't they want to get to the bottom of it? Why shouldn't everybody want to get to the bottom of this? I mean, how does this have to actually be a partisan thing? I would ask you. I don't see it as a partisan issue in any way, shape, or form, only because it is the sanctity of our entire system. We need a system that we can all trust, that's transparent, that we know is secure. For goodness sakes, over in Somalia, yeah. Somalia, Ilhan Omar's homeland in Somalia, they just insisted you have to have an ID when you go to vote. All right. So if Somalia can do it, why not us? I mean, listen, every other country, everywhere. I mean, this is nutty. They're all on Jim Crow stuff. We don't want to have any ID because that's somehow racist. Give me a break. There is nothing racist about it. And by the way, just look at all the polls. The majority of Americans want this, guys. The majority of Black Americans want this, guys. So why don't you? It makes us really wonder about you. It makes us really wonder if there's something.
No problem, Bubbles. Thank you for stopping by, Bubbles. Thank you.
Is this your, idea of how you secure things for yourself? Back to John Solomon right now. John Solomon at Just the News with some really, really good reporting on this. Take a peek.
The FBI has decided that the history of Maricopa County is problematic and that under federal law, a county or a state must administer the election the way their state laws do require it. If they don't, it is a federal legal violation. This is why they raided Fulton County, another place with a long history of irregularities and misconduct and, quite frankly, just incompetent election counting. And so the focus in this grand jury subpoena that went in the last few days to Maricopa County, seized many gigabytes of election data, is the 2024 election, which is interesting.
To vote in every state, not just the red states, because Illinois, y'all let us go ahead and vote without using our IDs. They gave us our name, you guys our name and address, but we should have had our IDs as well. Because look at this trash right here. Election integrity was bogus in 2020.
Was a yellow banner, and I got into a position where I could see the yellow banner, which said low confidence. Then I started paying much closer attention to the signatures, thinking this didn't even make sense to me because the signature on the ballot that was being compared to other signatures didn't even resemble in any way what they were comparing it to. They were completely illegible. They were just scribbles on the ballot. And
that's why we need our IDs, because IDs has our original signature on there. That's why IDs are important. It's not about your address, about your picture. It's about your signature as well. So yes, IDs are important, especially for a federal election. And ICE agents should be at a federal election too as well. Like and subscribe.
Because President Trump won there. But there is a discovery that was made by congressional observers. Every year, the House Administration Committee sends observers, one Democrat, one Republican, to various voting centers. One of the teams, the Republican-Democrat team that went to Maricopa County, observed something very disturbing. They took pictures. They wrote a long report. Congressman Abe Hamadeh hinted at this in an oversight letter recently. The information in that report was so troubling to the FBI, and when coupled to the things that the Arizona Senate found in 2020 that were raised as concerns, and the things that Hamadeh and Kerry Lake raised in 2022, they were able to get a grand jury subpoena from a federal grand jury and execute the transmission of a large amount of voter data. They're going to go through that data.
I'm Deontay from Wofford. Nobody is paying me at all. I'm not even asking for super chats or anything when I live stream and I do my YouTube thing. So I'm not paid by nobody, just me.
Tail signs that were in this congressional report.
Wow. All right, so we're going to get some answers soon.
I wish I did get paid by it. That'd be nice.
Answers, guys. Like, what's wrong with it? Oh, the Democrats don't want it because maybe they're going to look bad. I mean, it comes on the heels of Georgia. You got Fulton County, Georgia, where they were freaking out because what happened? Oh, a few weeks ago, the FBI went in and raided the place, and they walked out with 700 boxes. 700 boxes of voter ballots. And as it happened, I got a kick out of this Mo Ivory. She's the commissioner there in Fulton County, Georgia, and she's flipping out, freaking out. And in real time, you see her just say, I can't believe this is happening. This is what's going down. Watch.
Hey everybody, so here's an update. We're at the elections hub right here off Fairwind Road, and they did correct the warrant, and they are now in there getting the documents. 700 boxes of 2020 ballots and accompanying things that go with it, absentee ballots, all the things, right? So our clerk of Superior Court, Shay Alexander, is in there making a log of everything that they're taking, but this is like all wrong.
Thank you.
So we're trying to figure out a legal plan, and we should have one, whether that's an injunction, whether a motion to quash, whatever it is, we're trying to figure it out right now because this is an attack on our elections.
Okay, that was January 29th. She's still working on that legal plan because guess what? She doesn't have one. This is completely lawful.
J.C. Lee Peterson, that's what he's talking about. He compared me to J.C. Lee Peterson. I appreciate it. I have no problem with that.
Looking for people who may have committed criminal wrongdoing. So here she is, all breathless. You can hear the hysteria in her voice. She walks off and then
meant to keep you from trying to go to the polls in November, being too afraid to change what's going on in our nation. So instead of worrying about people dying in Minnesota, here we are at the Fulton County Elections Hub. So let me go find out what the legal plan is.
Okay, I spoke too soon.
Hi, everybody. Listen, I know you're watching the news. You're seeing a lot of stuff about this FBI raid at the Fulton County elections and registrations. I'm on the inside right now. So I just want you to be real discerning about all that you're hearing from people who are on the outside of what's going on. I'm going to give you the truth about what's happening. So they served a warrant, the FBI, this is Trump, serving a warrant to go pick up the 2020 ballots, which are in a secure location inside of here, 700 boxes. The first warrant that they gave was incorrect legally, they didn't follow the right procedure. They went back and they fixed it. And they came back and now they are actually collecting the boxes. They are in the chain of command in Fulton County is that once they are archived, they become the possession of the clerk of Superior Court, which is Shay Alexander. She is here and she is with them inventorying everything that they're taking. We, the commissioners, the chairman, the county attorney, are trying to figure out a legal plan as to maybe an injunction.
Okay, you keep working on that, Mo. You keep working.
We're trying to figure it out. We're getting all kinds of legal
advice. Like I said, you keep working. But if you actually cared about the integrity of our elections, wouldn't you just be welcoming of every single little last bit of information you could get? How do we have a system if the system is corrupt? And even if it's not, okay, let's give them the benefit of the doubt here. We're going to ignore the 137 registered non-citizens, okay, out in Arizona. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's assume everything is squeaky clean. Wouldn't you feel better knowing that? And wouldn't you? Knowing that your vote is secure. By the way, we haven't even gotten into the Save America Act, which just is obvious at this point. And the idea that they somehow don't want that to happen, what does that tell you? I want to know. Really, what does it tell you? Because it tells me, and I hate to say this, but it tells me, I don't know. Do you need to cheat? Is that why? Is that the reason why you don't want people to have an ID? That's really messed up because you ought to be able to have an audit trail. And this is what the president is asking for. And I'll tell you, Americans are behind him. Just check out the new polls. Meanwhile, here he is. Getting a very warm welcome in the state of Kentucky. He was everywhere today. We saw him.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And
we saw him.
Special hello, Kentucky. I love Kentucky.
We saw him in Kentucky. We saw him in Ohio touring a pharmaceutical plant. We saw him in Washington, D.C. And guess what? He talked to everybody everywhere he went. New poll out today. Trump's approval rating hits a near 3-month high with independents. Not exactly the group that you would think. would be so welcoming of him, especially on the heels of what's going on with Iran. But here you go. Surprise, surprise. A new Economist YouGov poll showing that he's pulling ahead with independents. According to the poll, Trump's overall approval rating is 40%. His disapproval rating is 55%. You know, it's bound to happen when oil prices go up. But that may not be for long. We'll explain in a second. Anyway, his disapproval rating is 55% among independents. The president has an approval rating of 31%. So that's the highest he's seen in about 12 weeks. So amazing considering all that's going on, again, with Iran. Specifically, when it comes to Iran, the majority of Americans say that Trump should have sought congressional authorization before striking Iran. This tells me, you know what this tells me? The media has done their job on behalf of the Democrat Party, because what person in their right mind actually thinks, gee, it would be a good idea to go out and tell Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib that I'm going to strike Iran and try and take out the Ayatollah tonight? Like, seriously. So, you know, apparently 56% of Americans think that he should have consulted Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. And he should have gotten congressional approval from these 500 and some odd yahoos who, you know, can't wait to talk to anyone, would be tweeting the thing out all over the place. And you know what? Would ultimately be putting our troops at risk. So I'm sorry, like, I'm in the minority there, I guess, because I'm in the absolutely not. I'm never going to tell Congress before I strike. I retain, as President of the United States, the ability to assess whether there is an imminent threat. And if there's an imminent threat and I can go and take that strike first, I'm going to do that all day long. And you better believe I'm not going to go asking for permission from these, you know, little hoodlums, right? Like, you think I'm going to ask them? No. I'm going to go ask, you know, the bartender, AOC, gee, what do you think? Should we take out the Ayatollah tonight? I mean, this is idiotic, but it tells you that the media has communicated this narrative to the point where people are brainwashed. It's why I'm so glad you're here. Please make sure you subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. It's important that you do, because we have a different kind of dialogue here, don't we?
Thank you, guys.
Here's
Thank you.
another
Thank you.
one. Again,
Let's
you
get
got
it. Let's get
Economist
it.
poll, 52% of Americans disapprove of Donald Trump's handling of Iran, 39% approve. I'd say that's interesting. We've seen a lot of half and half, right down the middle of the fairway for a lot of these polls. This is one that suggests Americans are not happy with it. But I'll tell you this, guys, I think they're going to be happy in short time. I think they're going to be happy because the president does not want this to be a long, drawn-out ordeal. And he said that from the beginning. And yet the media doesn't trust him on that. The Democrats don't trust him on that. And, you know, it's to be expected, right? But I'll tell you, knowing him as I do trust him on that, because I know he doesn't want to be committing a ton of resources, a ton of effort, and the risk of lost lives for nothing. So the idea is you go in, you win.
Team of hope, no problem. Team of some hope. Soft hope. Team of soft hope, no problem.
As we speak, again, I want to point out the success he's seeing with independents. Another person seeing some success right now, Marco Rubio, climbing in the betting markets. What do you know? But it makes sense because he's been out in front of this situation with Iran all along, and it kind of is, well,
Team of soft hope, no problem. Come by anytime.
You see, overall, the sentiment for the country is much more divided. But, you know, if you look at how Americans that are Republican feel right now, and if you look at MAGA, they are all in on this, and they support the president 98%. Overwhelmingly, the Republican Party supports him right now. And so in that sense, it makes sense that this guy is no longer going to be little Marco. No, bye-bye, little Marco. I think there's something else in store for him.
But I want everyone to know your military is getting the job done. And every single day, this regime in Iran has less missiles, has less launchers, their factories work less, and their navy is being eviscerated. And the world is going to be a safer and a better place when this mission is accomplished. And
there you go. That was little Marco, not so little anymore, speaking on Saturday. Here is the latest out of Polymarket. You can see the Republican presidential nominee pick is still J.D. Vance. But boy, oh boy, is he slipping. Okay, he's slipping. Who do you see coming up in the ranks? None other than Marco Rubio. He is the The bright blue, the periwinkle blue would be J.D. Vance. So that's rather significant and worth keeping an eye on right now, because J.D. might be more in line with sort of, the Tucker Carlson school of thought on this. And Marco Rubio is more in line with more, I hate to call myself traditional. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a traditional conservative in any way, shape, or form, but maybe sort of, the not crazy people on this, all right? So that perhaps is why we're seeing
that's a good one.
success.
Joe Biden is sharp as a bowling ball. Man, that's a good one.
Share, like, make a comment, tell me what you think. Is it Marco? Is it JD? Maybe Pete Hegseth. Hey, was Pete Hegseth in there? We'll go back and check. No, he's not in there. So, there could be more names before it's all said and done. I will say this. We got some good news on the economy. Inflation is tame. Inflation is basically a nothing burger. Inflation is, so far anyway, exactly what you want to see. 2.4%. I like it, right? I mean, we held steady. And the idea is, because we have low inflation, then the Fed's going to have some room to be able to cut rates. And the president knows this. The president's excited by this, and he's making the point out in Kentucky now that, we've done some really good things for the economy. We saw as well Caroline Leavitt recently speaking on that. I'm going to get to that in a second, but first, here we go to the president.
Perhaps most importantly to the workers here today, I'm pleased to report that the great, big, beautiful bill also delivers no tax on overtime. Whoever thought that was going to happen? That means every extra hour you work, your overtime pay is now 100% tax-free. You have no tax. Remember that when you go and vote. The Democrats want to end it. So you take home 20 or 30% more to those beautiful children or whoever the hell you're bringing it home to. Okay, I don't know who you're bringing it home to. I don't want to know. That's not my business, although it could be interesting. After so many years of politicians who sold out the working men and women of our country, we finally have a president who puts American workers first.
Nice. So again, the president getting a very warm reception there in Kentucky, making the point that he puts American workers first. This is not a story that you're going to hear in the mainstream media at all. I want to go back to a great broadcaster and a wonderful woman who I've worked many, many years with, Maria Bartiromo. We were at CNBC together and then in Fox Business together. And I really say, in this business, you can count on one hand the good guys from the bad guys. She's one of the good ones. I want to go to her speaking with Caroline Leavitt over the weekend about the good stuff that the president is doing.
The president inherited the worst affordability crisis in our nation's history from Joe Biden, and look at the progress he has made in the course of the past year.
Enormous progress. Like I said, don't tell the media. But I think about wages going up. I think about inflation coming down. Inflation now staying steady at 2.4%. This is what I'm talking about, okay? We need that. We need that sensibility. Where do you think we would have been? Can you imagine if you had Kamala in there? I can't even that's like the stuff of nightmares, right? We don't even want to even go there. We don't want to think about that. It would have been a really, really bad set of facts. And yet I'm sure the media would have spun everything however they could for her, just like they were doing with Joey Boy. With Joey Boy, it was like inflation would, come down from, say, 9.6% to 8.7%. They're like, woohoo! And it's like, guys, it's still 8%. And it was up 9.6%. So now we're up 8.7%. That's not a woohoo moment.
Yes. Once again, I'm a Trump supporter, a MAGA. If you're not, that's okay. Everybody's welcome to the channel. No bots. Let's continue. Name is Deunta.
4%, which is right in range with what the Federal Reserve loves to see.
Like and subscribe.
A headline like the one over my left shoulder from the AP this morning. I couldn't believe this. I'm like, come on. I mean, I know you hate them, but for goodness sakes, this is just numbers. This is economics. Get your act together, for goodness sakes. Inflation was elevated, they write, last month, even before the Iran war sent energy costs soaring. You see, they just couldn't say it, that inflation is tame. I mean, you can go on about, what's going to come. We're all debating that right now. It depends on how long this whole thing goes on. The oil prices are up and gas prices as a result are up about 20% right now. People can handle that. The question is what happens down the road. All right, that's a fair conversation to have. But for you to print this on a day when we get a stellar inflation report, come on, AP, we get it. We know what you're up to, and we're just a little bit sick of it. Oh, did I forget the New York Times? Let me not forget the New York Times. They couldn't do a nice, inflation is tame report. No, they had to say U.S. inflation has steadied. Oh, I guess that's charitable of them. Before war with Iran. Da-da-da. They don't have the latest numbers. We'll see where it goes. I actually don't think it's going to be out of sight. What was out of sight was Joe Biden's economy. And believe me, it would have continued on. For goodness sakes, can you imagine if we had Kamala? Donald Trump wants you to remember that.
The first group of opponents, it's the first group, the Democrats, they're always saying, we're going to raise your taxes. Historically, a politician has to. Ideally, you're going to follow through. But you have to say, we're cutting taxes. They say, we're going to raise that. They were going to give you, if they won, Kamala and Joe, Sleepy Joe. But they were going to raise your taxes more than any. It was the biggest tax increase in the history of our country. And I kept saying, are they really saying this? I don't know. What do I know about politics? I haven't been doing it that long. But they were going to give you the biggest tax cut. And now again, the midterms are coming. They want to raise your taxes higher than you've ever had before. We have to win. The midterms are going to be very, very important to keep it going.
No, he's right. I mean, that's just a given, right? Super, super important. And I think he makes a pretty valid and funny point. Like, most politicians, you'd think they're going to come forward and say, hey, we're going to cut your taxes. We're going to give you more money. But nope. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, they want you to know they're going to raise your taxes. Yeah, they are a special breed onto themselves now, aren't they? Again, a reminder, we're seeing a lot of volatility in the markets right now, but I'd say the markets are hanging on just fine. And this has been the point that we've been making. If you get our newsletter at 76 Research, go to 76research.com. You can get the 76 report for $1 a month. Use code word dollar, DOLLAR. My gift to you. Hey, we got some good news on the oil front. I'll tell you, it didn't show up necessarily in prices today, but this is a big deal. You got the largest global release of oil that we've ever had in history. The IEA, that's the International Energy Association, announcing that they're going to get 32 countries together. They've all signed off on this. They've all agreed, and they're going to release 400 million barrels of oil. So that should help alleviate some of the pricing pressure. So that's big news. Again, another plus for this administration, another plus for the American consumer. Plus, not to mention, we got a ton of oil. We got a ton of this stuff. I mean, it's coming out the wazoo, and Donald Trump is going to make sure that we're going to get even more of it. I want to share with you some news that just crossed this afternoon. Do we have it for you? This is about more oil drilling in the U.S., actually off the coast of California. Forgive me, I don't have the article to show you, but I'll just tell you what's going on. He's planning to use a kind of novel legal strategy, saying that this is, a time of stress, a time of war, etc., and thus we should be able to drill off the coast of California. Well, the Gavin and company, they're going to go absolutely bonkers when they hear this, but we'll see where it goes. He's certainly making the effort. He wants to get all the resources he can right here at home. Meanwhile, does he even need to? Because I'm looking at this going, wait a second, did Donald Trump just end the war? Did he just up and say, enough already? This is interesting. I want to play for you some sound from earlier today. He was touring a factory in Ohio, and he was asked about the war, and he basically said it's an excursion. And then later on, doubled down on this whole idea of it was just an excursion. So don't call it a war. I mean, it was a war for them, but not for us. Watch.
But 47 bad years we suffered with them, not only us, the rest of the world. We're doing our job. So we had to take an excursion, but it's doing well. The market's holding up well. I figured we'd be hit a little bit, but we were hit probably less than I thought, and we'll be back on track in a pretty short while. Prices are coming down very substantially. Oil will be coming down. That's just a matter of war. That happens you can almost predict it. I would say it went up a little bit less than we thought. It's going to come down more than anybody understands. Do you have any questions, Peter?
Yes. You just said it is a little excursion, and you said it is a war. So which one is it?
Well, it's both. It's an excursion that will keep us out of a war, and the war is going to be. I mean, for them it's a war. For us, it's turned out to be easier than we thought. But think of it, they had thousands of missiles, 8,000 missiles. We got many of them before they got to launch. They have drones all over the place. We got many. Now we're knocking out the drone plants, as you know, going fast. They started talking about mines. So we hit 28 mine chips as of this moment, 28. Using the same weapon, the exact same weapon that we use against the drug dealers in the.
Yeah. So we got some experience in this field, shall we say. We've got some experience, and we're taking out the mines. We're taking out the bad actors there that were throwing these, throwing these missiles. Not throwing, but you get what I mean. At the warships for Iran, we've taken them all out. Okay, we've decimated their navy, and that's important. That is absolutely massive. He's making this point that their navy is now non-existent. I'm going to let him say it because he's got his military terminology down a little bit better than Trish Regan.
But think of it, they had thousands of missiles, 8,000 missiles. We got many of them before they got to launch. They have drones all over the place. We got many. Now we're knocking out the drone plants, as you know, going fast. They started talking about mines. So we hit 28 mine chips as of this moment, 28. Using the same weapon, the exact same weapon.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Drug dealers in the.
Okay, we talked about that. I think this is a big deal, though. So now we're sitting here going, wait a second, is this war still really going on? What exactly does he mean? Because he says we've decimated the Navy, we've taken out 2 rounds of leadership. I know he doesn't want the Ayatollah's son in there, but if we could get that Strait of Hormuz open back up, hey, maybe we're off and running. And Iran, meanwhile, is begging for the whole thing to end. We get it. You have to take them with a grain of salt, and we have to see whether or not we can trust them. But I think a big part of this is going to be that Strait of Hormuz. The president saying earlier today that the oil companies, you know what, they should just go for it. You should just start sending the ships through. They're obviously nervous because they don't want to lose any of those ships. They don't want to lose any of their personnel. He said before that our Navy could escort them. It doesn't look like that's happening, but he's like, hey, it's fine, which tells me he thinks this whole thing is over. Watch.
Are you talking to the CEOs of various oil companies, encouraging them to use the Strait of Hormuz? Yeah, I think they should. I think they should use it. Look, we took out just about all of their mine ships in one night. We're up to boat number 60. I didn't realize they had that big a Navy. I would say it was big and ineffective. But every one of their ships, just about all of their Navy is gone at the bottom of the thing. We don't think so.
Okay, so he said go for it. Again, we've got a lot of things going on. We got oil coming back on market from the IEA with the largest release ever. We've got the potential for that Strait of Hormuz to open up sooner than you thought. We've got potential for this whole thing to end sooner than we thought. So all of that sounds good. Which is why, you know what, the reaction that you're seeing in the market is really muted. Like I told you it would be, and like the president told you it would be. But again, we can't tell CNN. You can't tell CNN anything. They're going to report something different, or they're just going to, make up falsehoods along the way. Whoops, she did it again. Or CNN did anyway. Abby Phillips, you guys know this woman? She kind of gets into it a little bit with our friend Scott Jennings, and he's like, boop, boop, and she's gone, right? Actually, it's like, boop, 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 because there's 7 or 8 of them on set. He's got to tackle them all. It's really entertaining. It's their best rated show. I've looked at this because I'm like, oh, that news is so boring and everybody says the same thing over and over again. But that show that she hosts actually does pretty well. And it's all thanks to our friend Scott Jennings. But, she didn't have Scott Jennings to help correct her recently. And so she said this. Once again, reflecting her bias, or at least the bias of the people that write her scripts. Watch.
Up next, 2 Republicans say Muslims don't belong here after an attempted terror attack against New York's Mayor Zohran Mamdani, and the House Speaker Mike Johnson says nothing really to condemn those comments. Another special guest is going to be with us at the table when we come back.
So, did you hear that? It was an attack on Mamdani. Because, of course, in CNN's mind, it's always an attack on Mamdani or somebody of color or somebody, they have their own preconceived biases, shall we say. So she did put out an apology, a rare thing for a CNN anchor, today, because people are kind of annoyed, right? Like, we're sick and tired of this. It's just constant. And, it comes on the heels of what they did yesterday, which I'll remind you about. But her tweet said, "I want to correct something I said last night. The bombs thrown in New York City over the weekend by ISIS-inspired attackers was thrown into a crowd of anti-Muslim protesters and not specifically targeting Mayor Mamdani. That wording was inaccurate and I didn't catch it ahead of time. I apologize for the error." Okay. So probably, I'm guessing, she doesn't take the time to read her scripts before she goes on the air. And she obviously probably doesn't write her scripts. I actually always wrote mine, except the teases. In fairness, I can understand it might happen because you're reading something in the prompter and you're like, wait, you try to focus so that you're not like out to lunch saying something wrong that somebody writes. But the reality is a good anchor should be able to write their own intros, should be able to ad-lib their own intros, but unfortunately the business has become nothing but a bunch of talking heads that read these little prompters and have their own biases reflected by their little team of producers, all of whom think that, well, of course they would be going after Mamdani. Of course, he's the victim. He's always the victim. And so I think, in fairness to her, sure, maybe it was just her not doing her job and reading her teases ahead of going on air and allowing some little minion in the newsroom to write for her. It's a problem in the industry in general. But it comes on the heels of something else, where another little minion, apparently at CNN, decided to put this out. This is just hours before. And I quote, "Two Pennsylvania teenagers crossed into New York City Saturday morning for what could have been a normal day, enjoying the city during abnormally warm weather." I said yesterday, it feels like a Norman Rockwell scene, right? Oh, just out for an afternoon stroll, going to the big city. But in less than an hour, they write, their lives would be drastically changed as the pair would be arrested for throwing homemade bombs during an anti-Muslim protest outside Mayor Zorhan Mamdani's home. Here's what we know so far. Oh, are you kidding me? I mean, tell us your bias without telling us your bias. I mean, that's just so overt, and people were annoyed. I played you yesterday, even the FCC chair. If you want to go watch it, go check yesterday's live show. Brandon Carr was like, "Are you kidding me?" And that's a problem for them. I saw one of you guys saying, "Hey, I thought they got bought." They did. They got bought by Paramount, but the deal hasn't closed yet. And Paramount, of course, owns CBS. So you don't want the FCC all annoyed about your tweet at your cable station, because that might affect your broadcast station. Just saying, okay? Just saying. And, if you're smart, and David Ellison he's going to be running the place. They're not going to be having a little moment like that too often. It goes on. Here, they issued the corrections. So they have two corrections in 2 days. Gee, CNN. A post regarding the two individuals arrested for throwing homemade bombs outside of New York City Mayor Zorhan Mamdani's home failed to reflect the gravity of the incident, thereby breaching the editorial standards we require for all our reporting. It has therefore been deleted. I should hope so. Delete it pretty fast. But, this anchor, she wasn't done. She wasn't done. No, she had to go back for more. And if you have any doubt of the bias that she clearly has, you need to see this. Watch.
I can't speak for Mike Johnson, but I would say we've had 2 terrorist attacks here in the last 10 days. So can we condemn those? Why are we? Of course.
She's gonna say "and." Wow, Abby.
To do with Muslims.
There is a radical strain of Islam that's led to these terrorist attacks. Obviously, the vast majority of Muslims are
people with terrorist.
What does that have to do with Muslims? The fact that we've had 2 terror attacks from Muslim extremists, and this woman who has an anchor job on CNN wants you to think that there's no connection? I mean, do you feel gaslit? Well, hopefully you're not watching that channel, so you don't feel gaslit. But you might have some friends that are a little bit gaslit, or you may have some friends that actually believe this crapola, okay? And I'm sorry they're your friends, but, we're trying to We're trying to help them. Tell them to come over here and watch the Trish Regan show. Let's continue on listening to Ms. Phillips with the lovely Lydia Moynihan. I believe she works for the New York Post, I think. Don't quote me on it.
Ideologies here and all around the world. What does that have to do with whether Muslims belong in American society as a group?
Yeah, let's be clear. I'd
like to hear the answer.
I'm talking. Let's go back one more time. All right, I want to hear that again. Because you can see Lydia saying she's just talking about what Mike Johnson was saying, and then somehow this Abby lady takes it to a whole other level that clearly Lydia's not even talking about. Here we go.
Yeah, let's be clear.
Let's all around the world. What does that have to do with whether Muslims belong in American society as a group?
That's not what she was talking about, and that's not what Mike Johnson was talking about. Here we go.
Yeah, let's be clear.
She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, that's not at all what I said. I was simply making the point that there is a connection between the terror attacks and extremists that believe in the Muslim religion, period, okay? That's an obvious fact, and you can state that. And you don't need to challenge her on it, Abby, because it's a fact.
Hard to hear the answer.
I'm talking about what Mike Johnson was saying.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what he didn't say.
Read his full quote.
What I'm talking
Shabby
about
Abby.
is what he didn't say.
Good one.
Without compromising our commitment to religious liberty. He was chiding those two members of Congress. And by the way, as a Republican,
was he?
As a Republican, I believe that the same amendment.
There are strong language.
The same amendment.
Thank you,
Is
guys.
it strong language or is it bigotry, Joe?
The same amendment that gives those two members of Congress the right to say things that are offensive, that I find actually offensive as well, is the same amendment that permits Muslim people to be here proudly and
Nobody said that Mike Johnson should.
I mean, it's annoying. Okay,
It is
it's
annoying.
and she does this all the time. I want to go back to a clip that this might have happened when the war first broke out. We first saw those strikes happening, and this woman is on the set basically saying we should just sit back and take it. It doesn't matter. So what? They go after our embassies all the time, and why are we striking now? We really doubting any intelligence that the president may have been presented with, and actively sort of saying, well, who cares? And Scott Jennings, he takes her on. It's pretty darn good.
He's been talking to the press. He has not suggested that there was an imminent.
He absolutely has said that there is an imminent threat of them having ballistic missiles that they were possibly planning to shoot at U.S. military installations, B, and in the short and medium term, continuing to manufacture missiles that would allow them to shield a nuclear program that they would not give up. This is a pretty clear rationale.
Let me play.
The bottom line is they don't want them to have ballistic missiles. They don't want them to have a nuclear program. They don't like that their Navy makes trouble for everybody in the Gulf. And that is the stated rationale. You could throw on other things. For the last 47 years, they have killed American troops, they've made American personnel, they've exported and funded terror around the world and around the region. And you seem to be suggesting they have no allies in this. I watched the president with the Chancellor of Germany today. He strongly supports what we're doing. The UK is feckless, Spain is feckless, but we have plenty of allies in the region and around the world who know we have done the right thing.
To be clear, I just want to you just listed a bunch of things. None of them were an imminent attack. But Rita's question is actually
ballistic missiles, Abby.
No,
there are imminent attack weapons.
What proof is there that there were ballistic missiles, that they actually had ballistic missiles that could reach the United States?
Why is she defending them?
Look at your television. They're falling right now. Iran has been attacking through their proxies U.S. military bases for some time now. Okay,
you want to keep that going? Or?
The argument that the administration may be making sometimes is that they might have had capabilities to attack the United States. What about that is imminent?
Are you all? Are you all arguing that they are not were not prepared and are not currently firing missiles and drones into things?
It's not that. I mean, everybody understands the threat of Iran. It's been there, to quote Tom Cotton, for 47 years.
Yeah.
The question is, what changed in the last 30 days? What changed in the last 30 days? That's the question that everybody...
Because we had a president who had the cojones to get care of it. 47 years. By the way, he made that really clear in the speech in Kentucky today, saying, you know what? 47 years. But then we decided to have, how shall we say, a little incursion, right? That little incursion that just changed the world in a pretty epic way for a generation, let's hope. I mean, I don't know if it's naivete. I don't know if she's just, obviously, she must be sort of on the side of Palestine. If I can even say the word Palestine, she's on the side of the Gaza people, and by inference, I guess she's on the side of Iran. But yeah, it's been that way for 47 years. You want to continue on? Well, technology gets better and better, and the Iranians get more and more access to nuclear weaponry, and then have the opportunity to take out the whole Middle East. No, Trump was not going to let that happen. Didn't he say that? On my watch, it's not happening.
We did an excursion. You know what an excursion is? We had to take a little trip to get rid of some evil, very evil people. It should have been done for 47 years. They've been killing our people. 47 years. And I can only say this. They were all prepared. They're very strong. You know, they're going to try and take over the whole Middle East. They were going to knock out Israel. They don't know what the hell hit them, right? They don't know. They got hit by the American military. They don't know. They're saying, what the hell is happening? They didn't expect anything like this.
Oh, they sure didn't. But you know what? We have the greatest military on earth. And sometimes you may not want to, but sometimes you have to use it. Because sometimes some people do not take you seriously. And you look at what happened with Iran over the years. You look at what happened with Barack Obama. He was like scared. He just kept giving them more money, thinking, if they join the world economy, they're going to be better. Well, no, they're not going to be better, because you see, they're led by an Ayatollah who has a religious extremism bent. They can't join the world economy. They're never going to be able to play on the world stage until they get rid of that nonsense. Thank you very much. Quick shout out to one of our great sponsors here on the Trish Regan Show. We love these guys, Balance of Nature. You hear me talk about them all the time, but I'm going to talk about them again some more, because if you haven't gone to balanceofnature.com, please do. And use my code word Trish so you get a great discount. And you know what? You can be taking your fruits and veggies too, just like I do. And then you're going to be as healthy as you can imagine possibly being. I drink my water. I try to eat right. I go to the gym. I take walks, and I take my Balance of Nature. So not bad for a routine. And I like knowing that I'm getting all of these vitamins. They have a very specific scientific process where they basically freeze this before they grind it up and put it into this Balance of Nature formula, which you can put on your food, you can put into your drink. And so you're hanging out. I got to be there too. He released this in a post on LinkedIn. Ooh, it's a really long post, so I'm not going to bore you with it. But basically, he's been in Seattle for 47 years. 44 years, forgive me, 47's on my mind because of what's going on in Iran. 44 years ago, he and his wife made this trip across the country. He's actually got a great story, a wonderful story. I am trying to think where I heard it, maybe on a podcast, about how he started this business, and it's just tremendous. It's really, I encourage you to kind of dig around and find it, because it's a great success story, regardless of what you think of him. He is at least smart enough to know he's got to get out of Seattle, Washington, and head to Miami, Florida, where it's at. So he's been there a long time. His wife was the main breadwinner back then when he started this company, and the rest is history. Starbucks is not my taste for coffee. I actually much prefer McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts, believe it or not. See, I'm really not that fancy. I'm really not. I'm just a simple girl from New Hampshire. When it's all said and done, I do not need my macchiato. I do not need my cafe au lait or cafe latte. I'm perfectly happy with just a good cup of coffee from McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts. What about you guys? Do you like Starbucks? I learned early on, I'm going to tell you some more about him relocating, but I learned early on when I was first working.
That's what Obama did without congressional hearing.
That was really damaging to my weekly budget. And so if I wanted to get a cup of coffee, first of all, it would never be the latte, because I couldn't swing the however many dollars that it was way back then, even 20 years ago, whatever it was. I think it was still like $3 or $4. Now it's like $7, right? Anyway, I never wanted to pay that because that adds up over time, right? I didn't need to go and get my morning jolt of coffee and stand in line with a zillion other people for them to call out my name. No, thank you. No, thank you. Overpriced, very strong, not so good coffee.
All right, Patriots. Well, we got a fox in the hen house. And in this video, we're going to break down who Mr. James Tallarico is. Now, James Tallarico is a Texas state representative who just recently defeated the loudmouth ghetto queen, Miss Ratchet herself, Jasmine Crockett, in the bid for Texas Senate. So now he's going to be running against either the Rhino, John Cornyn, who's trying to switch up his game and act like he's just so MAGA when all he wants to do is get reelected. And he'll flip on President Trump on MAGA. And
it's all good. Thank you. Like and subscribe. Thank you.
MAGA to get elected. And he's going up against Ken Paxton, who most Texans and MAGA support. They know he's a MAGA guy. He's going to support President Trump. He's hard on the border, and he goes crazy on Democrats. So Tallarico is going to face off against one of those two men, either Cornyn or Paxton. But in the meantime, what he's been doing is making his rounds. And he's been doing this thing like he's just this upspoken, up straight and upstanding Christian man. And he never can raise his voice above an octave like this. And what he's done, he's stolen a page out of the Barry Soetoro, Barack Obama, just for those who don't know him, under his real name, Barry, that he had in Indonesia for a majority of his life. But that's okay. We'll get back to that. But James Tallarico snatched the page out of the Obama book, who Obama endorsed over the black woman, Jasmine Crockett. And you know what the Democrats say? You got to believe all black women and the black queen until it comes to a serious seat in politics. Then that ghetto ratchetness had no place. And Obama endorsed Tallarico. And you got to say to yourself, anybody that Obama and Hillary and the whole swamp, the deep state is for, you already know Americans should be against. And Tallarico is right up there. Now, in this video, as you see on the screen, we about to set this thing off hot and heavy. And let me start by saying this. I myself am a believer in the Most High God, Jesus Christ.
Right, Trump ending it. Yes.
I don't proclaim to be perfect at all. But
Venezuela and Iran, they asked for this. They asked for help from the Democrat Party, both parties. Nobody didn't do it. Trump did it. And they happy about it. They're in the streets celebrating, so stop the TDS. Some of you guys in the chat.
But like I just said, I don't proclaim to be perfect, and I don't run around speaking as if I'm holier than thou. I'm a man. But we got people like Tallarico, as you're going to see in this video, runs around trying to
I said ending
proclaim the word of the Most High God,
not end
and
it.
Interpreting to people what the scriptures mean. And if you are some believer, when you see it here, the things that he's going to say on this video, your mind will be blown, and you will agree with me and work to do everything we can to keep this man out of the Senate seat. You know why? Because they're trying to set him up at a run and a bid for presidency, not in 2028, but in 2032. So we got to snake him out right now and expose him to everybody. So as you watch this video, when it gets done, if you like it, if you see that this man is a snake because of what you see, not because of what I say, please share this video. Get other people to see it so we don't allow this fox to eat up all the chickens in the hen house. So let's start it off with this. As you can see, Faith Forward, Texas Senate candidate, follows porn actors, escorts on Instagram. And I'm only going to read a little bit of this. James Tallarico, a Texas Democrat running for U.S. Senate, who has put his faith at the forefront of his campaign, follows several adult film performers, escorts, and OnlyFans models on Instagram, according to Axios left-wing publications review. The big picture, Tallarico, 36, a seminarian and state house member, has become a sensation in Texas politics by talking about how his Christianity is the basis for his democratic politics. So he's made his faith in Christianity his base. That's his everything. But then we find out he's following corn stars, and I got to say corn because YouTube already slipped up once. Corn stars and OnlyFans models. And if you don't know what OnlyFans are, that is an Instagram page that's behind a paywall where these ladies and men do something strange for a little bit of change. Things that you won't want your children to see. You may not let your grandma see it. You won't want to watch it with your mom and dad if you're a regular, normal person. But this is what he's into. So he says he wants to win back Christians who have left the Democratic Party by exposing how Republican policies on immigration and other issues don't align with biblical values. Tallarico has drawn large crowds around the state and praise from party leaders, including former President Obama. Red flag. Tallarico spokesperson JT Ennis said in a statement that the social media team, including James, follows back and engages with supporters who have large followings and does not investigate their backgrounds. The Instagram accounts Tallarico follows typically have at least 50,000 followers. Tallarico and his campaign both use his account. Has more than 1.7 million followers, but follows only about 3,700 people. The campaign did not make Tallarico available to comment. Zoom in, Tallarico follows 10 Instagram accounts of women who are popular corn actors, OnlyFans models, and have accounts on escort sites, according to publicly available accounts viewed by Axios in recent weeks. And so that's how we setting this party off. So, he just mistakenly follows not one. Now, I can see if it was one, maybe you didn't know you follow somebody back. Two, we're stretching it a little bit. But 10, that's not a mistake. That's an addiction. But check out this first clip. And again, now remember, if you're a believer, especially if you know your Bible, brace yourself. Because the things you're going to hear this man say, you wouldn't believe it. If you're somebody who is a supporter of James Tallarico and you are a Christian, beware. Because he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. And he's using that to trick those that aren't thinking and don't have eyes to see through his BS. But check this out.
But I say all this in context of abortion, because before God comes over Mary and we have the incarnation, God asks for Mary's consent, which is remarkable.
What the heck?
Go back and read this and
Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you, guys.
The angel comes down and asks Mary if this is something she wants to do. And she says, if it is God's will, let it be done. Let it be. Let it happen. So to me, that is an affirmation in one of our most central stories that creation has to be done with consent. You cannot force someone to create. Creation is one of the most sacred acts that we engage in as human beings. But that has to be done with consent. It has to be done with freedom. And to me, that is absolutely consistent with the ministry and life and death of Jesus. And so that's how I come down on that side of the issue.
So this man is saying, and this whole thing was about justifying abortion. So he's saying that, abortion's okay because God asked Mary for her consent, didn't, and she gave it, but consent is everything. So that's why abortion's okay if a woman didn't give her consent, because the immaculate conception of Mary. Now, if you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I will never ask you for a cash app, a super chat, or a donation, but you hitting that like button, it does help get the video out there to wake up more people. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And when you do, please make sure that you hit the notifications bell and select all. That way, YouTube will make sure that you get notified when I upload new videos. Do you see the demonic play in this whole thing? Now, the Immaculate Conception has nothing to do with abortion, but this deranged leftist has tied it into it. And that's just one. We just getting heated up. Now, on this one right here, I want you to listen as he calls Jesus a radical feminist. Check this out.
Did they teach you
This guy is an idiot.
that Jesus Christ himself was a radical feminist? God is both masculine and feminine and everything in between. God is non-binary. We should treat our southern border like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front. I want us all to be aware of is that modern science obviously recognizes there are many more than two biological sexes. In fact, there are 6.
What the?
Surprised me too, because I am not well versed in this issue area. I'm not a scientist. I'm a politician. A lot worse than a scientist.
Now, listen to what this man said. Jesus Christ was a radical feminist. There's 6 different genders. God is non-binary. Remember, the Most High God is essence, is spirit. The only quote-unquote, I guess, deity, if you want to call it that Satanists pray to, that is a male and a female, is called the Baphomet. That was a physical specimen that has male and female parts that Satanists, demon worshipers, pray to. That is whatever deity or whatever they consider to be a deity, the Baphomet. The Most High God is spirit, is essence. So for him to say the Most High God is non-binary because he's male and female is a direct, what would you call it, abomination of the word of the Most High God. Because the only thing that's associated with that is the Baphomet, and that is demonic. So what he's doing is preaching demonic words to people that buy into this crap. And then 6 biological sexes. Did you hear him say that? And I want to point something out too, if you didn't notice. And this part of the video is a little fuzzy because it's been hard to catch it. but you might not be able to see. But James Tallarico is the only one in here wearing a mask, and this is the year 2024, 2025. Nobody's wearing a mask. And we talking about in Texas, except for him. That is deranged insanity. But again, we got more. Now, right here, this is when he goes on with Colbert. Now, I want you to listen now. Is there anybody watching this video that believes that Stephen Colbert is a Christian? If you've watched the things that he's done and you've heard the things that he said, he talks about everything but the Most High God and shows his allegiance. He even had an episode where he literally dedicated a baby to Moloch, which is who Satanists, what do you call that, sacrifice little ones to Moloch. Again, associated with the same realm of the Baphomet. On the heels of all of the stuff that's taking place in the country right now, seniors, it's extremely important that you make sure you've got the best Medicare plan available, because this year, Medicare plans are expected. Oh, take take the baby. Take the baby. Don't make me.
Crazy shit here. Subscribe.
I'm sure the baby will be fine.
But listen to Tallarico and what he says about gay marriage and abortion as he refers to Stephen Colbert like, Christians like us. Check this one out.
Well, for 50 years, the religious right, a political movement, that is the perfect description for it. They convinced a lot of our fellow Christians that the most important issues were abortion and gay marriage. Two issues that aren't mentioned in the Bible, two issues that Jesus never talked about.
He is a bold-faced fibber, a liar, if that's what you want to call it, and I'm going to prove it to you. Now, anybody that knows anything about the Bible, I'm not somebody that knows the Bible frontwards and backwards, but I do know what I was taught, and I do know what things were referenced to. The Bible directly speaks about homosexuality, and again, if anybody is gay, that homosexual that watches this video, this is no disrespect, but I'm pointing out that what he said was false. So, biblical texts often cited as condemning same-sex acts, primarily in Leviticus 18:22, 2013, and Romans 1:26-27, are interpreted by many scholars as prohibitions against specific ancient practices such as the R word, idolatry, pagan rituals, rather than loving, committed same-sex relationships. Right here, it breaks down what Leviticus says. Leviticus 18:22, 2013. These verses label a man lying with another male as an abomination, often understood in the context of the holiness code designed to separate Israel from the Canaanite practices. Sodom and Gomorrah. That was a story about that, and they were doing those type of acts. So, and even in Romans, Paul's writing is sometimes interpreted as condemning same-sex acts as unnatural. So, he's lying when he said two things the Bible never talks about and Jesus never mentioned. That is a lie. And he's doing that to play on ignorant voters. Now, he's somebody that talks all against the corporations and taking money from corporations and got to stop that, blah, blah, blah. While he himself is taking money from casino owners, the Democrat darling showered with Miriam Adelson's linked money. She's a big-time Vegas casino owner whose husband was a mega donor for the Republican Party at one point. And he has quietly
He said, Marco Ruckus.
Has built a national
Appreciate the call. Thank you.
GOP billionaires in politics, but has quietly accepted funds from a PAC backed by one of the wealthiest donors in the Republican Party. The single biggest donor to Tallarico's State House re-election bid last year was a group funded by casino mogul Miriam Adelson, according to state campaign finance data. So understand, he talks about all GOP billionaires and taking money from the billionaires. While he himself took $59,000, the largest campaign donation he'd ever gotten from a Republican PAC. Understand that. Now, what he may not know is that this was done on purpose. Where the next time he goes to run his mouth and talk out about that, guess what they're going to do? Slap him right with it and show, oh, you talking down against it? What's up with that 60 G's you took from the casino mogul, Miss Adelson? See, these Republicans, the Trump team, these MAGA warriors, they're playing for keeps. And James Tallarico, they know he's a snake. He's actually worse than Jasmine Crockett, because I never heard Jasmine Crockett use the Most High God as a campaign trick or campaign stump. She never did that. She used her ghetto ratchetness, but this guy is willing to step up, misquote the Bible, and have these young people believe in something that is not. Now check out this clip here where he's going, and this makes me laugh whenever I see a deranged leftist apologizing for their whiteness. I'm not apologizing for being black. And Lord knows there's been some horrible things that have been done by young black people or black people, period. Just like white people, just like Latino. But I wouldn't expect anybody to apologize for what the Most High God blessed them to be born as. That's just insane. But check this out.
For me, prophetic voices like Jesus have helped me reckon with my own whiteness, my own masculinity, my own certainty, my own ego. It's a never-ending process, and it's a painful process. For me,
what the is he talking about? How does Jesus help you deal with your whiteness and your masculinity? You were born a man, and you were born a white man. And with the last name Talarico, I think it might be a little bit of Spanish mixed in there somewhere. Don't know. But just saying, I think it might be. Okay, you saw that one already. Now, right here, this is where James Talarico, Mr. Christianity himself, I want you to watch him fight against the bill for the 10 Commandments to be placed in schools. He's Mr. Christian, God-loving Jesus Christ man himself. See, when he's in front of the media, he does his thing. And this is with all of these politicians. But when you dig to what's going on in the state houses, in the congressional hearings, where they're really having to do their thing and play their position, oh, the real comes out there. But then they'll disrespect something, talk down on it, vote it down, and then come out right in front of the media and say, well, yes, I'm all for this, but the Republicans just have to do it right, but I'm all for it. Lying, you just talk down on it, you just voted against it, but you do the Machiavellian thing. Do you know that majority of Democrats, from what I understand, allegedly, are encouraged, if not forced, to read Machiavelli the Prince, where in the book Machiavelli the Prince, it teaches you to say one thing in public, but practice and believe another thing in private. And that's how you can see a Democrat be for something today, and then the next day when Trump's doing it, the next day be totally against it with a straight face. And then guess what? Trump will leave office, they'll do the same thing again and be for it all over again and act as if they have no idea what's wrong with people, why they're not for this, even though they were just against it right after they were just for it. But check this out, as Mr. quote-unquote fake Christian, and I won't say fake Christian man because that's not right, Mr. Christianity proclaiming himself, that's his shtick. Listen to him fight the bill for the 10 Commandments and what he uses to stop it. Check this out.
we as a legislature are about to force every teacher in the state to post the 10 Commandments in their classrooms.
If they are
members
donated.
of the Texas legislature follow the 10 Commandments?
So again, this bill is about honoring our historical, educational, and judicial heritage with the displaying of the 10 Commandments.
The 9th commandment is thou shalt not bear false witness. Are you aware of any legislators who have lied about anything?
That is, you know, there might be one coming up in a minute. If you keep talking, we'll see.
The 7th commandment is thou shalt not commit adultery.
Yes.
Do you think that members of the legislature should focus more on trying to follow the 10 Commandments rather than telling others to follow them?
I am, you know, it is incumbent on all of us to follow God's law.
So as you saw, this man is pushing back against the 10 Commandments being back in schools like it was when I was little, because everybody in the legislature isn't 100% like Jesus himself and never committed a sin. While he's following corn stars and OnlyFans, I wonder how many people in there know that about him. He's taking money from casino moguls, gambling. How many people know that about him? He's sitting up here lying, talking about how, Jesus in the Bible never talks about gay. He's a liar. He's on Colbert talking about, because Christians like us, we do our Christians. Anybody that has to constantly say, I'm a Christian, 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 is the last person I'm going to believe is a Christian. Because it's shown through your actions, not through your words. And based on his actions, he's far from it. Because I don't know about anything in the Bible saying follow corn stars and OnlyFans models. Now, on this last clip, I want you to check out as he's going to debate this young man. And what he says and does is so disingenuous, and it's just to show you how he really feels about illegal immigrants. And if he feels that way about illegal immigrants, 9 times out of 10, he's your typical deranged Democrat. This is how he feels about all minorities. Because listen to how they speak, and this elitism coming
If I'm posting garbage, you can leave this channel. I'm right here. I read the chats. I jump in. I need to jump in. If they cooking, I'm let them cook. Other than that, you can leave the chat or stay. Everybody is welcome. I'm right here.
This is really good.
Nice to meet you. I'm kind of tough. I'm not sorry. Where we disagree, I think, is this idea that immigrants as a whole are a drain on this country. That's where I strongly disagree, because these immigrants are doing jobs that native-born Americans won't do. And here I'll give you an example. Let me just give you an example.
I disagree.
I've been live streaming about 3 hours, so I'm not gonna talk every 3 hours. All 3 hours, I'm gonna keep on talking. No, let the video do its thing. It's been 2 hours and 54 minutes I've been screaming. I'm gonna play another video, and then I get back to you guys again. Like and subscribe. I'm right here with you guys.
How do you know that?
I'll give you an example.
You ask?
Let me give you an example.
Who did you ask to say they want that job?
I talked to an avocado farmer in California. He's been running this farm for 20 years. He said he has never had a native-born American apply to work for one of his jobs. And
Let me ask you a question. Real quick. Okay, how many black people are in California?
In Los Angeles or
in California?
Thank you.
I don't know.
Thank you.
It's under 7% now. He doesn't have enough people that need jobs in California for you to make that statement toward Texas.
It's not even that
Texas, more black people stay in Texas, more foundational white Americans stay in Texas.
Let's just talk holistically. There are 7 million
jobs.
jobs.
Holistically doesn't work for everyone.
These Democrats, whenever somebody says, let's do this holistically, that means I'm about to make up some pie in the sky BS, and we're going to take perfect case scenario for what I'm about to say. And like he cut it off, he said, no, that doesn't work. Very good for him.
I'm talking globally about the economy. There are 7 million jobs that are unfilled in this country. We have more jobs than we do workers in America right now. And these are, as you know, some of the toughest jobs, right? Picking our fruit, taking care of our children and our elders, paving our highways. These are jobs that are difficult.
Fruit pickers.
Research shows that undocumented immigrants are really just competing against other recent immigrants. They're not competing with native.
Bold-faced lie, because I'm sure y'all heard as soon as they booted all of those doggone illegal immigrants out from driving trucks, do you know how many American truck drivers were hired? What about at the Toyota plant, where they had thousands of illegal immigrants there working? When they booted all of them out, guess what?
Right.
The jobs opened up. You see what they do? They take jobs talking about picking avocados and working on farms when less than 1%, y'all, just so you know, less than 1% of illegal immigrants work agriculture jobs. They don't have to. They're on welfare, getting government aid. So all of this talk about how the illegals are just going to run to the farms and they're going to love them to do the cleaning and the cooking. They see these videos too. And they laugh when they hear the Democrats saying that, like, so what? Y'all think because the blacks used to do it and now they don't do it no more, it's like our turn? No. But listen to how they speak about these people as if they're just slaves, they're servants. And that's the only reason they want them here, to vote and to clean their toilets and serve their food and pick their freaking avocados for their guacamole. That's racist.
Born Americans who, in many cases, whether it's that avocado farm or whether it's other industries across the country, native-born Americans will not sign up to mow our lawns. And so we go after these immigrants. We're not just hurting them and their families and their ability to live the American dream. We're hurting the entire economy. We're hurting ourselves. And then I'll go one step further. Those immigrants go on oftentimes to create jobs. Half of all Fortune 500 CEOs are immigrants. A quarter of all entrepreneurs are immigrants. The research shows that immigrants and their children have a higher economic mobility rate than native-born Americans. So these are strivers, they're dreamers, they're doers. Unlike what some politicians say, in the vast majority of cases, these countries are sending their best. And they do make us stronger and richer through their military service and through doing the jobs that need to be done in this economy.
All right. He is so disingenuous. So disingenuous. Okay, you're talking about immigrants. Nobody's talking about immigrants. We're talking about illegal immigrants that came through under the Biden administration. Those are not CEOs. They are not creating jobs. But see how they conflate? He said immigrants. He didn't say illegals or undocumented, as the left try to say. And see, when you got somebody like that brother at the table,
Stormtrooper, what up, what up?
He's just listening to that like, oh, they're CEOs. Yeah. The immigrants, they came here the right way and they're legal citizens now, but they're still immigrants. They're not illegal. They're not undocumented. Or how many of them just were brought in through HB1 visas? But see, this is just to show you what type of liar, what type of snake this man is, and how he thinks of people as servants for him and the Democrat Party. James Tallarico can never become a senator in this country, ever. He's trying to do the Barry Soetoro thing, and we saw how that worked out. Obama tricked us on. I voted for Obama his first term. I'm talking about a year and a half into it, I realized I was sold. I fell for the BS. I actually thought, okay, here's somebody that really the country has selected somebody that's half black. We're moving in the right direction. I'm all about this. And I was a Republican. Worst thing, I got sold a bag of goods too. And I knew better. But he was a great speaker. And the media push was hard. They had Hollywood-style choreography for his campaign. Tallarico's trying to go that route, but we're not going to let him. So I wanted to bring you this. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about what you saw. Tell me that that's not demonic, what you just saw and heard from this man. Only a demon was saying do what he did. But we going to do what we can. I'm going to keep putting stuff out to make sure James Tallarico.
Right.
Who the hell is going to believe the crap?
According to the Conservative Heritage Foundation,
This guy here.
is up online from 2003 to 2020.
To Dick Durbin.
20 years. Do you know how many non-American citizens they caught voting in 20 years? 24.
I could do a Google search and come up with more than 24. I could do a Google search in less than 5 minutes and come up with more than 24. Who the hell is going to believe the crap you just came out of your mouth? Only 24 people in 20 years have ever been, arrested for election fraud. Huh? Every single one of you like, what? What is this guy doing? No wonder they don't want to do a filibuster. Yeah, he'd be calling his mama after like a couple hours.
24 people not voting who were ineligible for voting in 20-year period of time.
My gosh. You understand right now that our congressmen and our senators can walk up there and literally say anything. Nobody's checking them. Definitely not CNN. They'll fact check the hell out of anything President Trump says. What about what Dickie just said? We haven't had anybody arrested in 24 years. And every single person watching this show is like, oh my God, you got it.
20 years, 24 cases. The Save America Act would upend the past 2 decades of successfully secure elections with untested, dangerous
Wait. The last 2 years, no wonder there's nobody in the chairs. They'd be laughing. This is a comedy routine. These people have lost it. They know what's coming. I think I'm just figuring out what's coming. I wanted to bring it to you guys tonight. I know earlier in the show, you're like, Barry, no, there's no, and now you're like, hey, maybe that is what he has to do.
It's on voter registration. Here's how it goes. You want to buy an airline ticket and they ask you for identification? You pull out your driver's license if you have one. Simple. So why shouldn't we ask the same of voters? Well, there are a couple elements you should know. The Save America Act does not allow you to use your driver's license as identification. It doesn't allow you, even if you have a real ID that you're supposed to have in your driver's license. So the most common form of identification for Americans is ineligible under this new law.
Democrats are stupid and Republicans are weak. That's what we have right now. Because this should be a no-brainer. They should just walk in now while he's talking. Never mind, we're going to take the 50 votes. We're going to break the filibuster. You guys, you're nuts.
You have to prove where you were born. They will accept a couple things, 3 things they've accepted. One is a passport. Do you have one? Half of Americans don't have a passport. They don't own one. I do.
They ain't trying to get one.
Half Americans don't.
You know, they people that I know in Chicago. I'm 43 years old. A lot of people in Chicago right now haven't got a passport. They ain't even trying to get one. Half of them haven't been downtown Chicago yet.
Cost for you to make sure you have a passport by the next election in November, $165 fee. That's one of the ways that you can prove you're actually American. But it's not the only one. There's another one. Your birth certificate. Seen it lately?
Seen your birth certificate lately? You mean like last week when I went to Washington? I'm old, and I know exactly where my birth certificate is. What are you talking about? You seen it lately? Well, maybe some people haven't looked, but they can pretty much find their birth certificate. I'm pretty sure every single one of you could find your birth certificate.
Do you have it in your home?
Yep.
Do you know where to find it?
Yep.
And if you have a birth certificate which says your maiden name is a woman and doesn't say your married name, it doesn't work. It's ineligible.
We've been married 32 years. And we have flown across the pond.
Got my passport.
Else. And she's had no problems. Like, here's my stuff. Here's my birth certificate. Here's my passport. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Handsome.
So this notion
Handsome
of
young man.
American citizen turns out to be a lot more complicated when you actually read the proposal which the president is insisting on. Suddenly providing your driver's license, even if real ID compliant, will no longer be enough to register to vote, nor would military IDs be sufficient for service members. Men and women serving actively in the military, sworn to uphold the Constitution. When they go to vote, shows their military ID and they're told by the election official, wherever it is, sorry, that doesn't qualify. We need a passport or we need a birth certificate.
You know, I don't know where you live. I'm here in South Florida. And when you have to go into renew your license, it always says 2 forms of ID. One from column A and one from column B. However you want to mix it up, column A or column B. You're going to need both those. The same thing we all do every single, which is why the real ID works, because we've already checked all the documentation. Lie and lie and lie.
Under this legislation, election officials would accept a limited number of documents.
Was I muted? No, I'm not muted. Somebody goes, you're muted. Why do you guys say that stuff? I'm not muted.
And this could prevent million Americans from being eligible to vote in November. Why would the President of the United States be pushing so hard for a bill which will make it more difficult to vote? Because he's worried as hell about...
Because he wants the illegals to vote. We don't want the illegals to vote. As simple as that.
More and more people who have limited access to the identification required by this don't own a passport, don't have a birth certificate.
Last time I checked,
don't vote.
Check again. It's March 10th. This is where the Democrats always freak me out. The elections don't sneak up on us. They're every 2 or 4 years. It's March. The amount of time you're talking, you could have made a video telling people where to go to get in the next 8 months. You got 8 months to get this done, okay? But I would get it done in the next 7. Don't wait till the last month. You got 7 months. And in these next 7 months, here's what you need to do. And you're telling me in the last 20 years or 24 years, for all these people you say that you know who have no ID, they keep getting surprised by elections.
They know it's coming.
How can that be? We just had one. We're going to have another one. And then another one after that. And we're always normally in November. So if it's March right now, why the hell can't you just doodle your ass over to the DMV or whatever, right? Send away for your birth certificate, whatever you got to do. 8 months. And they're already complaining. Oh, they're not going to be able to do that. They're stupid. Can they handle a remote? Yeah. They got cell phones. They take videos and do stuff. We've seen them. They're protesting.
They'll EBT with a $1,000 iPhone.
Out there. They got to put their IDs out there. Go
On government SNAP benefits with a $1,000 iPhone complaining.
But 8 months from now, I don't know what we're going to do.
Are going to be eligible to vote and help his chances of winning the election in November. It is that simple. Tens of millions of married women who took their spouse's last name are going to have to spend the time and the money to obtain an amended birth certificate if your state allows you to have one. Why are we making it so complicated? Excuse me. As I said earlier, the incidence of fraud over the last 20 years, 24 cases of fraud in the United States of non-Americans trying to vote. 24 times in 20 years, the millions and millions of votes has been cast.
You understand when they do this crap, they're putting it into a record. They're reading this into the record so other people 20 years from now could read. Oh yeah, did you know back in 2026 and the last 20 years between 2006 and 2026, there's only been 24 people who've been arrested for voter fraud. Wow.
Making America fill out more paperwork will not secure our elections. This bill only makes it harder for women, members of our military, and seniors to participate in the democratic process. The president says he won't allow us to send any bill to him to be signed into law until we pass this law, denying the right to vote to millions of Americans in November. That's what the whole issue is about.
Okay, so you've seen a Democrat. You've seen Democrat attorneys. What's this guy? This guy is from the DNC. They're all suing. I'm going to leave you with this. They look like they're winning. Does that look like the people who we keep being told, oh, we're going to lose the midterms? Well, you would think that the people who were going to win would be a lot more confident. But they're not. They're terrified. They know what's coming. And so I'm just going to leave you. Let me see if I have it still. Yeah, I still have it. We're just going to go through this one more time about saving America and how do you save America. And that's why President Trump said, save America, right? So let's look at this window here. Here we go. How do you invoke the Insurrection Act and how do you do it? Remember this. Let me go back to the top. All right. The Insurrection Act of 1807 is a federal law that empowers the President of the United States to deploy the U.S. military. U.S. military. Military is the only way, huh? U.S. military, including active duty troops and federalized National Guard units, domestically for law enforcement purposes. It acts as a primary exception to the posse comitatus rule. And then there's three key aspects of the framework. At the request of a state governor, we're not going to get that from blue people. 2, without state request, if the president determines that, quote, unlawful obstructions, combinations, or assemblages or rebellion against the authority of the U.S. make it impractical to enforce federal laws. And I want to just bring your attention to number 3, to protect constitutional rights in a state that is unable or unwilling to protect those rights. And I portend, I offer up evidence of that your voting rights, my voting rights, are in danger if there's a possibility of these people who aren't supposed to be here trying to vote. That's specifically what it says right there, to protect the constitutional right in a state that is unable or unwilling to protect those rights. Yes, President Trump, you need to protect our constitutional rights, our constitutional right to vote. And some people will say, no, you can vote, but that's not protecting my vote. You see, my vote should count towards the person I'm voting for, and it should be protected because it's my constitutional right. And that constitutional right means an enemy, foreign or domestic, can't interfere with it. So if some dude from, I don't know, Honduras decides he's going to get a fake ID or whatever, no ID, and walk in up to California and vote, that most assuredly isn't protecting my constitutional right. It's diluting my constitutional right. I feel at this point that the Democrats know it's coming. I almost think the Republicans know it's coming. It's almost like a safeguard for them. They know they can't get anything done. He's going to have to do it. So I say, let's do it. Let's rip the Band-Aid off and get it done.
Yeah, play this one and that one next.
And nobody knew what that SAVE Act. Have you been seeing? I've been working overtime the last month. It's called the capital of the Save America Act. And I saw Schumer yesterday. We will stop Save America. He's getting killed. They can't do it. And then the things within the Save America are so good. But just the title. So we had that with MAGA. Greatest name of all time. Make America Great Again. MAGA. It just worked.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, we got to talk a little bit more about the Save America Act, as you heard President Trump talk about there, or mention there that there's two of them. There's the Save Act and there's the Save America Act. Obviously, the Save America Act is the one that's a lot more robust, and we'll get into a little bit more of the details of that here in just a second. Now, Trump is trying to put some pressure on the Senate to get this passed. In particular, obviously, John Thune, somebody who y'all have heard me express my displeasure with Senator Thune. I'm going to throw this up on the screen here. And it says, breaking, President Trump has officially announced he won't sign a single piece of legislation until the Save America Act gets to his desk. Trump's playing hardball. 85% support this. It should be easy. Yeah. You can see what Trump had to say there about the Save America Act. Now, the issue, one of the big issues, is obviously Senator John Thune, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, Republican, which is crazy to say he's a Republican. I can't tell, right? I can't tell at all. Can't tell at all. It almost seems as if he doesn't even want it to be passed. But here is Trump saying that he won't be doing anything. Check it out.
Remember the great movie, Jimmy Stewart? But they have to get it done, because if we don't get this done, if it takes you 6 months, I'm for not approving anything. I don't think we should approve anything until this is approved. And they can't win politically. Look, you have them in a corner, and they're listening to every word I'm saying. It doesn't matter, because they can't win it politically. Because when they say, we don't want voter identification, we don't want proof of citizenship, all these things are just losers for them. And they won't be able to withstand it. Just like at the state. Remember the great movie, Jimmy Stewart?
No, he's right. He's right. It is not going to look great for the Republicans who go on record and vote against this. Now, there's a lot of speculation on who those senators are, but before we get into who they possibly are, let's get a little explanation on what the Save America Act really is, because I feel like there's a little bit of confusion out there. I'll let Uncle Trump himself tell you a little bit about what's in the Save America Act. Check it out.
You've told your congressional colleagues that you will not sign any piece of legislation until the Save America Act is passed. Does that include the confirmation of Senator Mullen as your next DHS secretary? Does that mean a DHS funding bill? And Senator Thune said today, it's not a matter of whether or not your Republican colleagues agree with the policy. It's about changing the process. In other words, getting rid of the filibuster to get there.
So in order to get it, you're going to need Democrat votes. And what we're saying is the Save America, not the Save Act, which nobody knew what it was, the Save America Act. The Save America Act. And that's voter ID. We want voter ID. We want to be able to see a picture of the voter. We want to be able to see that the voter is legitimate. We want, very importantly, confirmation that this voter is a citizen of the United States of America, and we want no mail-in ballot scams. So we have exceptions for the military, for sick, for disabled, and for people that are away, business trips or whatever. Even vacations will be very liberal in that. We've added two things to it: no men and women's sports, and no transgender mutilization of our children. We don't want it's the mutilization of our children, and we don't want that. So we added those two things. That's the 5 points. We have 5 very good points. It polls at 86% with Democrats. Think of that. The overall vote is 86%. With Republicans, it's 98%. And the only one opposed to it is a Democrat leadership, because they cheat. They want to cheat. So we added those 2 points. We're going for the gold. and we're going to have to fight like it. Now, certain things will happen, certain things will take place. I'm here to do a great job for the country, but we don't have a country if we're going to have elections that are so corrupt and so dishonest like we've witnessed over the last period of time. You know, as an example, virtually nobody has a system of mail-in ballots like we have. No other country in the world. France went away from it. They owe it. You know why? Because it's corrupt. And Jimmy Carter, when he had a commission, frankly, I think it's probably the best thing Jimmy Carter did. He said, you can't have mail-in voting because it's inherently dishonest. And it's turned out to be totally dishonest, so we're going to fight for it.
So there you heard some of that there. Obviously, you have to have an ID, which most of America agrees with. And I believe I have a poll, yes, that I'm going to show you guys as well that will illustrate that here in just a second. But then he also added in, hey, no men and women sports and no mutilation of children. I would say most people agree with both of those things as well. Hey, if you're 18, if you're an adult, have at it. Do whatever you want to do, right? But to say that kids should be able to just chop body parts off, I don't think that should be allowed, me personally, right? Because that's something that is permanent. You know what I mean? That's not like it's not even like taking a sip of beer or something, right? That's not permanent, but we don't allow it, right? If you're underage, you cannot have that beer, okay? And that's not even close to being permanent. Taking a little sip or something or buying a shot, that's not even close to being permanent. But chopping something off, completely changing your hormones, and nah. Once you're 18, though, hey, have at it. Do what you want. Do what you want. You're an adult, okay? Do your thing. I agree. And I feel like most Americans would agree on that as well. Now, here is a little bit of polling to back the whole Save America Act voter ID stance. Check it out.
Okay, what's the racial breakdown on this, right? Because I think a lot of people make the argument that people of color, non-white Americans, have a harder time procuring a photo ID to vote. But even here, take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of Black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote. Okay.
Bing. Not controversial at all.
Right.
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Actually, I did have a clip of Trump saying something that I found super, super interesting. Was it this?
I think that mumbling, they can't explain it, against voter ID.
Oh, yeah, I think it was this.
The only reason you vote against voter ID is because you want to cheat. There's no other reason. They come up with reasons. They say, it's racist. That's their number one, racist. Then you have to explain it. They're just sitting there mumbling. They can't explain it. And it's actually very insulting when they use the term racist.
It is. Because why is it racist?
It's triggered.
Are you saying that only Black people or people of color aren't able to? It's like the Joe Biden comment where Joe Biden said, you know, poor people are just as bright and just as talented as white people. And it's like, wait, what? Huh? Did you just say what I think you said?
He said it.
Like, all Black people, all people of color are poor? Like, what do you mean? What are you saying? You know? Oh, well, this is going to disproportionately affect Black and brown people. Why? Do you think we're all stupid or we're all poor or something? Why wouldn't it affect white people too? You know? And as a matter of fact, most Americans agree with it. And you know what else I found interesting about this whole situation? Chuck Schumer actually agreed with this as well. Chuck Schumer, yeah, the Democrat who has been a Democrat senator for 40 years, if I remember correctly, nearly 40 years, if not more than 40 years. The Democrat Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer actually was arguing in favor of having voter ID back in '96. And if you don't believe me, I know I come with clips, baby.
Let's admit the truth. Everywhere people go, they're asked for a social security card. In fact, one way to prove you're a bona fide person who can have a job is to ask for a driver's license and a social security card. This is an anti-fraud amendment. Over where we go, people say, well, why can't you stop illegal immigrants or others from coming here? And the number one answer we give our constituents is when they come here, they can get jobs, get benefits against the law because of fraud. What they are proposing in this so-called SAVE Act is like Jim Crow 2.0. So it was all for the IDs not long ago.
All for it.
Back in, I believe that was 1996, if I remember correctly. And now all of a sudden it's Jim Crow 2.0. All right, old Chucky Chuck. Okay. What a shame. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, eventually we'll get it. It'll be by the skin of our teeth that it'll pass.
Oh, the league. What's up?
Thanks to Senate Majority Leader John Thune. But I think eventually it'll get there. Right now, it's scheduled for a vote, or at least John Thune said it'll come up for a vote next week. They won't be removing the filibuster, so it'll need 60 votes, and so it'll probably fail. We shall see, but more than likely it will fail. But I don't think that's going to be the end of it. I think there are some senators that hope that's the end of it, and they can just throw up their hands and say, hey, guys, look, constituents, we tried. But I don't think that's going to be sufficient enough. And I'll leave you guys with this. Don't be discouraged. Be encouraged. Don't let them discourage you. Don't let them. As a matter of fact, let me see if I could find. Did I save that? I don't think that I did. Of course I didn't. I don't think that I did. But there was a post about saying something along the lines of, people like John Thune hope that, this fails, and so they can run out the clock on Trump's administration and get Trump out of there. Because deep down, they actually don't like Trump. Here's one that's talking about it a little bit. But you guys get the gist of it. Don't be discouraged, because I think that's part of what they want. I mean, I don't think John Thune really cares whether he's the Senate Majority Leader or the Minority Leader or not, right? As long as he's still a senator, that's all he gives a crap about. And we've seen that they will spend buku bucks to try to stay in the Senate, as we saw with John Cornyn in Texas, who they spent $70 million on John Cornyn in a primary. Not a general, not a general election where he's running against a Democrat. In a primary, they spent $70 million on this rhino to try to get him pushed through. So I think we see the strategy here. We see the strategy. Hey, do whatever, say whatever to get elected and stay elected around election time. And then after we get elected, just stay up the people and go back to my rhino uniparty ways. We see that. Because make no mistake about it, and I believe John Thune is up for a re-election in 2028, South Dakota. I'm looking at you. Okay? John Thune, 2028. Leading up to 2028, he's going to come out and say a bunch of nice, fluffy, oh, yeah, we're MAGA, we're Republican, blah, blah, blah. You're going to see a bunch of ads. He's going to spend probably $100 million on himself to try to make sure he gets reelected. Don't buy any of it. Don't buy it. Because the proof is in the pudding. Look at what he's doing right now. I'm the Senate Majority Leader, guys, but, we don't have the votes. We don't have the votes. As a matter of fact, Trump actually said something that was quite interesting, and he called out John Thune. Where is that clip? I have the clip. Here it is.
You want to pass the Save America Act. He says there aren't the votes to do it right now. What's your response? Well, he's got to be a leader, you know?
Well, he's got to be a leader. Exactly. Do your job, Thune. You are the majority leader, right? Do your job. Get the votes. Duh. What do you mean? And nothing I can do, guys. Yeah, there's a lot you can do. There's a whole lot you can do. There's a whole lot you can do. All right? Including threatening to keep some funds away from some folks, right? Calling people out publicly. You can do all of that. You choose not to. So I'm going to leave y'all with this because I know I've been long-winded here. When you see some individuals, and this is part of the reason why I get frustrated with politics and things, and we all say, hey, Rich, you should run. I'm like, no, thank you. I'll pass. All right? I will pass. Because the stuff that I see, just common sense just go out the window. For example, common sense would tell you sitting out in the midterms is not a great idea. Whether or not you like what's going on with the Republican Party, sitting out in the midterms is a horrible idea. But I've seen some Republicans, some prominent, Republicans, influencers, if you want to call them that, say stuff like that. It's like, yo, how does that make sense? So you don't like what Republicans are doing now, so you hand it to Democrats who you know will be a hell of a lot worse? How does that make any sense? How does it make sense? Or you think you're going to stick it to people like John Thune? He doesn't care whether he's the Senate Majority Leader. Clearly, all he cares about is staying in the Senate. That's it. He doesn't care if he's the Senate Majority Leader or Minority Leader. It's all the same to him. What you need to do is be even more involved. Call these folks out even more.
Well, since it's Black History Month, which is nothing but American history, I figured I'd let Larry Elder school those of you that are so romantically in love with the Democratic Party. Play the clip.
That the Democrats founded the Klan. I didn't know when I was in high school that Democrats voted against the 13th Amendment that freed the slaves, the 14th Amendment that gave slaves citizenship, the 15th Amendment that, at least on paper, gave slaves the right to vote. Democrats voted against all of that stuff. I didn't know when I was in high school that more Republicans as a percentage of the party voted for the Civil Rights Act of 1964 than did Democrats. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Everett Dirksen, a Republican in Illinois, got an award from the NAACP for how he helped to shepherd the Civil Rights Bill through Congress. I didn't know that Al Gore's father participated in what was then the longest filibuster to prevent the bill from ever becoming on the floor. I also bought into that notion that, okay, Democrats used to be racist, but then Republicans switched places with them in the 60s. I bought into that until I found out that of all the Democrats that voted against the Civil Rights Act in the House, of all the Democrats who voted against the Civil Rights Act in the Senate, only 2 switched to the Republican Party, one of whom was Strom Thurmond. George Wallace, who stood in front of the school door as a Democratic governor saying segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever, he died a Democrat. Robert Byrd, who was a Kliegel, that means a recruiter for the Klan, he died a Democrat at 100 years old in the Senate. Most of these guys never switch parties. It is a lie. The reason the South became more and more Republican is because the Democratic Party became more and more left-wing, became anti-Vietnam, anti-war, pro-abortion, and the South became increasingly uncomfortable with their allegiance to the Democratic Party, especially since Jim Crow had fallen. If Jim Crow has fallen, why are we in bed with these Democrats? What's the point? Exactly. And so the South became more and more Republican for a reason that had nothing to do with racism. But that was the line that was fed by so many people, and so many blacks to this day believe that.
You know, it always baffles me every time this Black History Month comes around, which is nothing more than American history, that the left, the liberal, the Black KK collective groupthinks, the Eeyores of color, they always say we should uplift the Black voice. But for some reason, I never see them uplift conservative Black voices. And these are the same people that run around hollering diversity, equity, and inclusion. You know, my question to them is, do you support diversity like you do with race, gender, and sexuality the same way you do when it comes to diversity in thought? That's just a question. Happy Black History Month. Shout out to Larry.
for the president, not far off where he was when we last checked in. But I think for Trump here in his first term, that 2018.
So I came across this NBC video on YouTube where Steve Kornacki, the guy that does all the polls and he's showing all the numbers all the time, there was something interesting that happened that I don't even think they caught themselves. Because obviously, mainstream media, it's just whatever Trump says, it's bad. Whatever he does, it's bad. Hey guys, you remember Trump bad? You know what I mean? That's literally their whole shtick. Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. That is it. That is all. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what they're going to run with in a few years when Trump is gone. If there's somebody else, which maybe Marco Rubio, we'll talk about that maybe in another video. We ain't going to dive too deep into that one. But it's going to be quite interesting to see what they run with then, because, this is quite interesting. Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot of bashing Trump in this video. Expect it, okay? But there's a reason why I'm showing you this video here. Keep that in mind. So stick around, because I know there's a lot of y'all who are like, man, I ain't trying to hear this BS. I know. I get it. But once again, y'all know me. There's a reason why I'm showing you this, baby. Just stick around, all right? Now, make sure you guys smack that like button, subscribe if you are new, and let's jump into it.
Welcome back. NBC News Chief Data Analyst Steve Kornacki is here to break down the results of our latest NBC News poll. Steve, some big takeaways here.
Absolutely, Kristen. Let's start with the headline. Where does Donald Trump stand heading into this midterm year here? A 44% approval rating for the president. Not far off where he was when we last checked in. But I think for Trump here in his first term, that 2018 midterm, this is almost exactly where he was at that point, too. Of course, there was a 40-seat Democratic landslide that year.
Full disclosure, I believe it was Atlas Intel who has been the most accurate pollster thus far, based on past elections. Atlas Intel had Trump at 50%. So, yeah, just the FYI, okay? Let's get back to their Trump bashing, okay? Because
bring it on.
That's what they're doing.
Democrats took back the House. Also, what is driving the low number for Trump? It continues to be the economy. Look at this, Kristen. Asking folks, do you approve of how the president has handled inflation, cost of living specifically? 36% approve, 62% disapprove. That's down a year ago. It was 42.55. It's twice as bad now for him.
Steve, that's a big dip on a critical issue for this midterm election.
Absolutely, Kristen. Voters continue to say this one is of pretty central importance to them. And then also, are they feeling it? Have Trump's policies helped or hurt? Almost 50% they're saying they have hurt. A majority of independents saying the same thing. We checked in the president on some other issues here. Immigration now, 44% approval. But this is interesting. We also asked not immigration, we asked border security. And when you put it that way, it is different. 53% majority approve of the president. There, almost 1 in 10 voters have this split opinion: disapprove immigration, approve on border security. And I think this spills over to broader attitudes about immigration. These high-profile incidents, Minnesota. Look at this. ICE, a positive rating of only 38% for ICE. Does that mean the country's getting more dovish on immigration? Not necessarily, because when you ask about sanctuary cities, look at that. 33-43, also very negative there. So complicated attitudes, I think, on immigration. How about the state of the two parties heading into the midterm, the generic ballot? It's a 6-point advantage here for Democrats. So, all
right, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes, ladies and gentlemen. This is really where you need to start paying very close attention, because I'm gonna let it play for a little bit, but we're gonna be revisiting some things, okay? Pay very close attention to what is being said and what is being shown on your screen. All right? Okay. Let's keep it rolling.
Sizable lead for them, although we mentioned 2018, Trump's first term. At this point, it was 10 points for Democrats, so it is a little bit less. And I think what's driving the Democratic advantage now really is heavily this. It's the interest of their own base. We ask folks if they have the highest level of interest in these elections. 3/4 of Democrats are saying they do. Barely 60% of Republicans are. And again, that is a difference, Kristen. When you go back to that first Trump midterm, the gap wasn't as pronounced as it is right now. This, though, as well, the image of the parties getting outside the base here, what do all voters think? Look at this. Republicans are not that popular. Democrats, though, even more unpopular than Republicans.
Well, this is so significant because even though they have an enthusiasm advantage, they clearly have an image issue.
That's it. And that gets to the question, too, then how do voters look at these two parties when it comes to the major issues here? So Democrats do have this advantage. When you ask about threats to democracy, that's an 11-point advantage for Democrats there. Democratic voters say that's their top issue. Republican voters say that border security, immigration, more important to them. Big Republican advantages. But, Kristen, this will be it. Yeah. It's the economy. It's a tie between the parties. Republicans have had the advantage on this issue.
Zach, you got to stop trolling, Zach.
Now it's wiped away. Question going forward. Did Democrats actually open an advantage on the economy? That could be key to them if they are.
Biden was in the basement the whole entire time. They had to build a fake stage for Biden. He wasn't even in the White House.
He is correct.
Giving the press conference.
It's always the economy. It's always the economy. That is the bread and butter. That is where your bread, that's where your, goodness gracious, I can't talk. That is where your bread is buttered. The economy. What do people feel? Because if you guys remember back to 2024, leading up to
subscribe.
Democrats, all the mainstream media, for a while there, were all just saying, "Oh, the economy's great. We don't know what you guys are talking about. Things are amazing. Look at this number. Look at that number. See, these numbers are fantastic. Y'all are tripping. Y'all going crazy. Blah 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 blah." And then once they realize, "Oh crap, this ain't working. Then they try to, shift course a little bit, and they started, being a little more honest about what was happening. And you saw Joe Biden and the Biden and Kamala Harris administration start pulling from the strategic reserves to try to lower the price of gas, doing stuff like that. You saw, what's the guy's name? I'm drawing a blank. You saw interest rates get lowered right before the election, kind of interesting how that worked, but, they're neutral. But magically, interest rates got lowered right before an election. Crazy how that works, ain't it? Crazy how that works. We'll see if that happens again before this election. We'll see how even or nonpartisan they really are over there. But yeah, I mean, it's the economy. It's the economy, and we still have a whole lot of time. Let's go check in, Abe, on our.
That's my favorite YouTuber right here, Salty Cracker. He be cracking me up in the morning. Check him out too, Salty Cracker. I think he live in California as well.
Average American school teacher. I'm sure they're having a normal one. Oh, no. Again, dumb thing to think. This entire profession is full of the world's angriest and most violent individuals who are supposed to be in charge of your children.
Why is the left wing liberals and Democrats always want somebody to die? Especially us MAGAs and conservatives, men and women. They want us to die. Celebrate Charlie Kirk death. That's not cool. We don't do that type of stuff on this side.
And they keep thinking that it's a real good idea as public school teachers who only get a paycheck because the property taxes are being stolen from all the people around them. And it's a good idea to go out there and go, "You conservative, I hope your president dies." Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Again, you're supposed to be intelligent. That's why you're a teacher. But you're dumb. There's a bunch of these idiots, and they're making videos and they're like, "Well, I hope our troops die. I hope Iran wins, and I hope our troops die." That's atrocious. That's atrocious. You can hear me out. Hear me out. You could be against the war and still not root for Americans to die. You could be against the war and still be like, "You know what? No, I don't want to be in Iran. I just don't like the war," and then end it there. But no, a lot of these people are like, "I want our troops to die." That's atrocious behavior, and that's abhorrent. And I think it gives, by itself, just that, gives good cause for parents to be concerned about the mental stability of the person who's supposed to be watching a kid during the day. But it's a bit of a crime when you start hoping, telling Iran to kill the president. That's a whole nother level of stupidity. And it keeps happening. It keeps happening.
These people live in such a secluded internet safe space bubble. And again, everybody around this chick thinks the same thing. They talk like this at the lunch table. And this idiot doubled down. So here in this video, this is Brandon. Here's a high school teacher threatening President Trump. Video's been taken down. Iran, have you heard of a place called Mar-a-Lago? Look how funny I am. I want Iran to kill the president because that's going to solve all of my problems. Yeah, that's going to. I want a foreign belligerent terrorist state to kill the president, and that will solve all of my. Most of your issues, if not all of them, are because you're a dumb tart. And if Trump is blown up by Iran at Mar-a-Lago, again, an attack on America, you're not going to benefit from that. They want to put you in a hijab. You might be one of these rainbow teachers. They want to throw you off a building and stone you. You're showing your face. They think you're a whore. This is wild. But no, they're on your side. And if they kill Trump, that's a good idea. So as a public school teacher, you posted this. And you thought it was a good idea.
Wow.
Absolutely wow. No. I wasn't threatening the president. I was being funny.
To retaliate. I know you guys are planners, not attacking a random city.
Oh, yeah. Don't attack a random city. Don't attack a blue city. Attack a red city. Kill Republicans. You don't know where this is going to go. You think that this is going to go well for you? You think every kid, every family, all the people that you draw a paycheck from as a public school teacher, you think they're all politically aligned with you? You think they're going to be fine with you wishing that Iran kills them while you tell Iran to kill the president? This is what lefty chicks have been sold, this really weird notion that they should be dudes. That they should talk about people being killed and blown it up. And all of these lefty chicks are dudes at this point. This chick might have a female penis. Who knows these days? But she's got an abnormal amount of testosterone, which is wild. Now listen, if you're a dude and you're concerned about your testosterone levels, then you should be. God knows what they've been doing in our food, poisoning us. Check out today's sponsor, TWC's Mars. For decades, the average male testosterone get free shipping to U.S. residents. This idiot's handle is sped teacher, bruh. That's a special education teacher, bruh. Again, bruh. She's a dude, acting like a dude. So people were like, hey, TikTok, is that within your terms of service to have people wish death on conservatives? And so it gets pulled down, and she says, hey, you idiots. Now we're at Paul over here. And she's going to double down.
So apparently a lot of you did not like my video asking countries like Iran if they knew that our president spent a lot of time.
Yeah, I think Iran knows. Now, you wanted...
Yeah, they know about him. His house being raided. They know about it.
Your political opposition in this country. Apparently you guys don't like that I want you dead. Wow, really? Yeah. They teach that in teacher school? Did you learn that in your college? Yeah. So you guys didn't like that I wanted you dead, and you got my video pulled down. So I'm going to do another one. Okay, good. I want you idiots to make all the videos. I want you to get all the attention and smoke that you ordered. I thought you guys were getting the cancel culture. Shut up. Hey, stop using effective ways to get me fired. You got you fired. Oh, you guys, I don't care about from 8th grade. You're a terrorist. Did you want a foreign country to kill Republicans? And you're a school teacher. It's not a slip of the tongue. It's not an accident. Because you didn't take the world's biggest warning. You got your video shut down. You should be like, okay. All right, I should tone it down a little bit. Maybe I should wonder why I'm so reactive, so emotional, and I want violence. No. But no. Making more videos. No. You think I'm against cancel culture? I want you to make videos. I want everybody to know that you're an unhinged, mentally ill, violent lunatic, and people leave their kids with you. I want those people to know what's going on. So this idiot doubles down, makes another video. Right. Leftist teacher shamefully suggests Iran should attack Mar-a-Lago because that's where the president lives. And then people were like, well, then we'll just contact your school. And the school's like, oh my God. Now listen, the school is absolutely full of these people. And the school knows it. Everybody, the vast majority of the people at the school, flaming leftists. I don't know how many of them are violent tards. I imagine a lot of them. But even they were like, oh, this is way more attention than we need. This is way more attention than we need. So the Kentucky teacher lives on TikTok now. Kentucky teacher who wished for Trump to be assassinated. Like that part is a crime, right? Inciting violence on the president, trying to get the president killed, and I get that Iran's not going to listen to her, but the notion that you're going out there and you keep making videos and keep trying to normalize killing the president, you don't think that's going to get you a door knock? They keep getting fired, by the way. These idiots keep getting fired. Remember those two idiots who were making TikToks going, oh, Iran's threatening to kill the president. Come on, Iran, he's here. He's right here. Look, they got fired. But because these idiots, they put themselves on blue sky and they self-seclude them from the real world, they don't understand real world repercussions and consequences. And so even though teachers are getting fired left and right for promoting violence, these idiots don't see it. It's wild. So we keep making videos about you idiots getting fired. You TikTok violent nurses getting fired. Your teachers getting fired. All of you people who some aspect of your paycheck is federally funded. In this case, all of it's federally funded. It's all of it's taxpayer funded here. You're drawing a paycheck from these people and you want them dead. You're surprised that yeah. She was placed on leave without pay. She's going to get fired. Of course she's going to get fired. They got to do this first. They got to put this person on leave, and then they got to hold a fucking meeting, and then they got to fire this idiot. But this idiot's definitely fired. Definitely fired.
Yeah, fired.
She's already been scrubbed from their website.
Damn.
Here's the before and here's the after. And the school is like, yeah, we got to get rid of this. We got to get rid of this chick. We don't have enough special education teachers. They're a rare commodity, but we got to get rid of this one because we don't need all of this heat. we don't want all of this heat. Every parent in that classroom, if there's anything that ever happens, the parents go, well, I don't know. Maybe my kid might be mistreated in this classroom. Maybe my kid's failing because they're being mistreated. Maybe my kid's needs aren't being met because they're being mistreated. Oh, how do you know your kid's being mistreated? Well, the idiot teacher keeps making public-facing social media posts wishing death. I have an American flag on my truck when I drop my kid off. She keeps telling me that she wants me dead. So the school's in a very bad position. It's just like nurses are in a bad position when you keep saying you're not going to give health care to people of the political opposition. No health institution is going to put up with that. You've put them in a very bad position. Same thing with school teachers. And now you're fired, idiot. Now you're fired. And the best thing about this is all you other dumb tart public school teachers won't see this. You won't see this video. No. Well, that guy's a racist. I'm not going to listen to him. He's a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, but I'm 100% right. No institution, there's no nurse or teacher that is so spectacular that any school or medical profession, no boss is putting up with this type of heat, and you're gone. You're now going to be fired. You're now going to have to explain to another school that you're so stupid that you might put them in the same position, and they ain't going to hire you. You might lose your teacher's life. You went to college. Took all these extra credits to get the. You're an idiot. You're not fired because I think Iran's going to listen to you and kill the president. You're fired because you're a stupid idiot. And you keep telling everybody that you're a stupid idiot. They double down on it. So congratulations, you got everything that you wanted. Another dumb card fired. And it's going to keep happening. That's the best part. It's going to keep happening. And I'll be here to update you on it. So check out today's sponsor, PwC Mars, and hit that subscribe button, then make way. Because the soul must swap.
I don't give men my phone number. I don't give men explanations. I don't give men straight answers.
Oh no, strong and empowered. And boy, strong being the key word over here. That chick looked like a linebacker. Allegedly, of course, in Minecraft. Using the term chick. Extraordinarily fast and loose. That looks like my high school gym teacher, Mr. Ross. Allegedly, of course. No, go on. What are you guys doing over here? And this is with filters and a lot of makeup, a lot of filters. The reason why your graphics card costs $20,000 is because all of the RAM necessary for the filter servers, wherever the phone this idiot's using over here. Allegedly, of course. But no, friends, let's go down to the dating scene, right? Now, I'm an old man, right? I met my wife in person. That's a crazy thing. That's a crazy thing. Nowadays, all of these women that are on internet dating apps. And this woman wants you to know that there's some rules. Rules? Which app are you using? You use a Grinder. Is that even a thing? Hey, I need to pretend like I don't know Grinder. Is that still a thing? Nobody's making fun of that anymore. My favorite part is this though. So that's hilarious. The shooting the video in the kitchen, nice touch. I see what you did there, dude. Bring in the hands. They don't make film.
Finna go ahead and go, you guys. Like and subscribe. About to be 4 hours of live streaming. I thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Name is Deunta. Live in the blue state, Rockford, Illinois. Is what it is. I'm MAGA. You guys not MAGA? It's cool. Everybody is welcome. Except the bots. Like and subscribe. I'll be back.